49ers unleashed the Kraken. If you don't know what the Kraken is, stick around because we're going to talk about each and every breakdown right here on the WayneBreezie Show.
Breezy this, breezy that. They know I'm gold-blooded. I got the Niners on my back, you know. Breezy this, breezy that. Ain't nobody working like Breezy, and that's a fact. Overmotivated is an understatement. Gold-blooded to the core, got your squad hating. Breezy make it look easy. Breezy on everything like 05067 Wheezy. This is not a gang. Yeah, we faithful in every way. And even though we on the East Coast, very loyal to the Bay. Heavy red and gold every day. And if you really a Niner fan, I know you can relate. Applying pressure with this content like Smaller Bear. We not accepting no slander about Trey, so beware. I stay in exclusively Niner hats. And I always tell the truth, this exclusively Niner facts. Breezy this, breezy that. They know I'm gold-blooded. I got the Niners on my back, you know. Yeah. Breezy this.
What's going on, faithful? It's your boy Breezy, and I got the Mo's nose that way. I always get it. Whatever. What's going on, man? Look, we back. I'm back in the States. Mexico City was amazing. We could talk about it, Mo's, because it was different. But I tell you what, amazing experience. And the best part of the trip was getting out there and getting with all the 49er community. When I tell you the 49ers faithful travel, bro, man, Mexico City was lit. And Mexico City is huge, but it was lit with 49er fans. And not only that, I think some of the natives from Mexico are all 49er fans. Because the moment I stepped off the plane, it was go 49ers, go 49ers. I'm like, yeah. Saw 0 Cardinal fans in that time. But it's good to be back, Mose. How you doing, man? I hope everything is going well. I know we haven't gotten to do a show together in a minute, but it's good to see you.
Yeah, man, that's my fault. I didn't anticipate what this school schedule would look like with my daughter half day in kindergarten and the baby being home. So like when I have to pick my daughter up is when you go live. So in order not to cause any confusion of like jumping on and then having to leave and jump back, that's too much. I figure I'd just let you rock out. And whenever I do have the time, you know, if my older kids are home and they can kind of watch the baby for me a little bit, I'm jumping on. And that's what we got going on today. They're supposed to be in school, but thanks to mom, she allowed them to stay home. So thank you, Mrs. Mo's Nose, for giving me the opportunity to jump back on the WayneBreezie Show, and then the mid-morning, afternoon time to rock out with my brother, man. So always a pleasure to rock out with you. You know that.
Oh, for sure, man. I appreciate you being here, and I can't wait to get some of your takes on the game. I actually went back and rewatched the game because being at the game live, as you know, you watch it one way, and then you got to go home and rewatch it again, and then you got to break down film. So it's another rewatch. So it's going to be really cool to get some of your takes on there. But before we get the show started, I got to give a quick early shout out to all the members out there. We got people that subscribe to the channel already. Shout out to you guys that are out there. I see you out there. Y'all keep doing y'all thing. I appreciate y'all. Jacqueline Knox is out there. What's going on, baby girl? My man Eddie G in the place to be. My man Ronnie Montoya. What's going on, fam? And the one and only Christy Marie is in the building. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to all the members. Shout out to Miss Debbie. Shout out to everybody that's out there. Peachy, we still praying for you, baby girl. We love you. Stay up, stay faithful, and you know we got you. You know we got you. That's what we do over here. We family. Look, YouTube, make sure you guys like, comment, all that good stuff. It's important to do that because you know about the algorithm thing, right, Mose? Mose, you are the IT man. Just explain algorithm in 20 words. See if you could do that.
I can't. I'm not even going to attempt to do it.
Okay.
Because just the definition of algorithm and what it means. Just know this. When you do certain things, the system recognizes it. And the more and more it recognizes it, the more and more it pumps it up. So the likes are good, but comments more importantly is what I'm finding out. Likes are great, but it's that engagement. So we love you guys in the comment section during the lives, but even on the watch back, if you guys have questions and if you weren't able to watch during the live show, drop your comments in the show. They still come to us. They still come to Breezie. We still are able to see them. Drop comments on the videos. Tell us if you have questions, ask your questions. If you got a comment about something that we said, if you want to add some, drop comments on the videos. It's about that engagement. And as the system sees that engagement, the more engagement they see, people are watching this, people are interacting with this. Let's put this out to more people to see if there are other people that want to engage like the folks that are already doing. See, that was more than 20 words. I knew I couldn't do it.
Oh, you just gave freaking soliloquy like the back of a pamphlet. You know what I'm saying? But hey, it's better you say it than me saying it, because every time I say it, I don't explain it like Mose knows. So sometimes they need to know what Mose knows, because Breezie is not Mose. So that was perfect, guys. But listen, I'm gonna say it how Breezie says it: like, comment, and subscribe. And you can become members as well. Don't forget to check out the single Breezie This, Breezie That on all music platforms. Shout out to Lake City Fresh, and we got some stuff.
Oh, it's up on Apple Music?
It's up on Apple.
Let's go, Lake City. Hold up. Hold up. I didn't know it was.
We make the moves, bro. This is 2023. We pressing for it. Guys, make sure you subscribe to the podcast as well. The WayneBreezie Show's on Apple Podcast as well as Spotify. All right. And don't forget to join the Patreon. I will be doing the Patreon stuff. I'm going to start this weekend, and I will be putting out how you can enter to win those 2 free tickets to the Miami Dolphins game, which I will be at, all right, in San Francisco or Santa Clara or whatever. And last but not least, don't forget to support our sponsors over there at Residency. Go to www.residency.com. Use the promo code SFBreezy. Get the exclusive hats that they have out there. There's going to be a sale, right? Because it's Black Friday. Happy Thanksgiving weekend to everybody out there. I definitely wanted to shout everybody out there, man. It's Thanksgiving weekend. Some people celebrate Thanksgiving, some of us don't, and it's all good. But listen, whatever you choose to do around this weekend, just make sure it's what you want to do. I love celebrating. I'm going to be with my family this weekend. Mose, what are you going to be doing with your family on Thanksgiving? Just curious. I know y'all going to be, I know the kitchen's smelling right already. I already know.
You already know. So
I already know. That's why everybody home. Miss Mose is home. Mose Nose is home. Baby Mose Nose is home. I got it. Everybody got a part in it.
The turkey's done. The stuffing or dressing with the sage sausage and the peppers and the onions, that's done. The mac and cheese, that's done. She working on the greens right now. And then your boy Mose is getting up at 3:00 in the morning.
You got the smoker going?
We getting the smoker going. We got 6 slabs of ribs that we throwing on there, baby.
Take me to drive to New Jersey.
Hey, depending on when you leave, you might get here either right when they done or a little bit before they done.
I might do the show tomorrow en route to give everybody a sizzling Sunday snippet. I'm just saying.
So we got food for our house because 4 kids, they eat us out of house and home. So 4 of the slabs, we going to my mom's. All my family is coming over there, so I'm taking 4 slabs over there. Then I got 2 slabs of ribs for us here. But I'm getting up 3:00 in the morning to make sure them joints is done right, cooking them low and slow, making sure they nice and tender.
Low and slow.
But
do a video of that, and then we'll put it up on the Sizzling Sunday. We'll do something like the Mose Nose slow ribs, like how you do it, bro. See if you could do something.
And as we talked earlier, I can also throw clips of that up on the Patreon, which is now up and running. I still got to tidy up some things, but we had our conversation, talked about it.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what we call kingdom. You know what, Mose? That's what we about. We about kingdom.
Yes, sir.
If they can't figure that out, we'll have to do a Patreon so they can understand what Kingdom is all about. Shout out
Yes,
to
sir.
Tara Dome, who became a new member. Definitely got to give them the air horns for that. Appreciate you, family. Memberships are back, man. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. But Mose, we're here to talk football, mainly 49er football. And I really want to recap the game. We didn't get a chance to overreact because I was done drinking. I wanted to come home. Like I don't know if you understand what. Listen, guys, let me tell you what I did when I got to New York City. Now, if you guys have never been to New York City, it might be one of the dirtiest cities in the world. I don't know. It depends on where you go. My ass got down on my knees and kissed the ground. I'm not saying that Mexico City was bad. It was my experience, yo. Like the travel there threw my whole mojo off because I thought when I got on the airplane, I was going straight there. So can you imagine thinking you're going? And so let me. So you go laugh. I'm gonna make you laugh. So I thought I was going straight there, and I didn't. I ended up somewhere else in Mexico, and I don't know where that is. I can't even tell you where it is on the map, right? And so like my security was super high. I'm like, yo, y'all pray for me because I don't know what's going on, blah, 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 whatever. Anyway, made to Mexico City, had a great time. Shout out to John Chapman, the 49ers Rush podcast, the road trip, everybody. The crew was great, right? Shout out to everybody. Vicky, everybody out there had a great time. I tried to be the best breezy I could be, knowing that I was still kind of messed up. I was discombobulated, right? Then enjoyed the game. Glad we won. We're gonna talk about that in a second. Mose, the last thing that happened to me, bro, and I got to New York, right? I called the shuttle to take me to my car. I'm in the shuttle after we argued about where to pick me up at. I'm like, no, you come pick me up here. Whatever. Anyway, get in the shuttle. On the way back to the place, right? I'm looking around, and the dude, I'm like, this don't look familiar. Yo, the shuttle driver stopped at the corner store to pick up a sandwich and some chips, bro. The dude was like, yo, I'm gonna go get me.
Wait, was you the only person in the shuttle?
I was the only person in the shuttle.
Dog.
Yo, I'm like, yo, I can't even get the
That's
treatment
crazy.
at home. No, I can't even get the royal treatment in my own home. Yo, the dude literally was like, yo, man, I'm gonna stop at the store, pick up my sandwich real quick. And I'm looking around. I'm like, I don't know this neighborhood, Mose. I don't know it, bro. So I see a guy bending over, picking up something off the ground. I'm like, all right, son, I see you. Now I'm looking over here, stuff going on over here. Then the guy came back, and we was literally like 2 blocks away from the joint. But yo, cats be throwing me curveballs. And I tell you what,
did he lock the bus when he got off the joint?
No, but he left the keys in the car, so my brain was about to be like, soon as I see somebody,
if I gotta peel out, we cranking this joint and we gone.
CDL or not, I was out, bro. Yo,
that's wild, man.
Yo, man, but
Only
what an
in New York.
experience! Only. So, did you see the tweet that Mike put out? It says, "Yo, I'm never traveling."
He said, "I'm never traveling with Breezy."
It's just me. It's just me. It's just me. It's just me. Shout out to Fernando out there. He says, good morning. Happy Thanksgiving. What y'all cooking? How was the trip to Mexico? I'm hoping I'm answering that right now. Mo's already answered what he was cooking. And Jimmy Garoppolo was the best player. Thanks for your shows. Fernando, thanks for your support. I truly appreciate you. 49ers underscore throwback. We definitely appreciate you over here, man. And thank you for everything that you do when it comes to posting shows, giving out super chats, everything that you do. Trust me, it won't go unappreciated. And speaking of that, tomorrow I'm going to have Mariah on here from the Mariah 49er Faithfully podcast. And it's going to be a Thanksgiving show. And I'm doing the show just because I want to give everybody that watches the show thanks. That's what we're doing the show for, because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. We're going to be doing a special Thanksgiving show just for you guys. All right? Look, Steve.
Hey, yo,
Steve.
we need to be going to – wait. We need to be going to Christy's house. Wait a minute.
2 turkeys, bro. 2 ham.
10 racks. So she beat my 6. She said,
Yo.
I see your 6-rack ribs. I raised
you 4.
But 50 hot links, mashed
Shrimp?
potatoes, stuffing,
Wait.
shrimp and rice.
Shrimp, rice dressing? What the freak is that?
Sweet potatoes, green bean casserole, oh, she got the smoked turkey wing. Lord have mercy. Mac and cheese.
Chrissy,
and
can you
all
somehow
pies.
text us if you're on the East Coast? Because I will make a trip. Listen.
I will bring the styrofoam containers.
I got a whole stack from Costco.
Got a whole stack of them joints, bro.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
Get plates from everybody.
This is amazing. I got to give a shout out to Tanya, and I'm trying to find her thing because she became a member and I can't find it, and I want to find it. There it is. Bam! Tanya. I know she cooking over there. I'm dying to know what's on the thing. You know what I love about Thanksgiving? That everyone experiences it differently based on their cultures. And so you can get a different experience, like, from everyone. And I think that's one of the best. When I was teaching, this was one of the best times of the year for me, because I would have the kids do a Thanksgiving PSA project, like a public service announcement about, Thanksgiving. And then they would have to include some type of video description on how they celebrate. It would be sort of like a documentary, not a PSA. It was more of a documentary. They did Veteran Day PSAs. It was more of a documentary on how they celebrate. Now, some kids didn't celebrate it, and they still went through the process, what their day was like. Like, I got one kid that just, it's a regular day, wakes up, this is what I do. I get dressed, I'm going to the studio, blah, 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 blah. Hey, whatever it was, but it was really cool just watching what everybody was, how they go through, how they celebrate it based on their culture, their religion, their background, things like that. So one thing I love about Thanksgiving, bro, there's no right or wrong way on how to do it or how to celebrate it, but it's really cool to see that. All right, we got to get to some football, because I can tell you what's going to be in the comment section at the end of this show. You took 20 minutes before you talked about the 49ers. I'm like, damn, I ain't seen y'all in a minute. Guys, I just want to catch up. Steve, I didn't want to release the Kraken on the overlay for tomorrow. Steve is the guy that does all the graphics for the show, right? That's my brother over there. But tomorrow's overlay is going to be bananas. I can't wait for y'all to see it. That's why I didn't want to do it today. But tomorrow's overlay.
That's when somebody is like really happy and proud about their work. When they come and they let you know about it, like, hey, yo, some of the ones
give a round of applause to Steve Mullen out there, please, y'all.
This one's going to be fire, so I can't wait to see it. Thank you, Steve. It's going to be
fire. Round of applause to Steve. Matter of fact, Steve, if you can you make it for 2? Because I'm going to have Mariah on the show. I got it for 1. Can you make it for 2? And before we start the show, right, before we get into 49 football, since they going to complain about 20 minutes, I'm going to use all my 20 minutes. All right, so here we go. Got to give a happy birthday shout out to my brother Michael Andrews, who just turned 56. Happy birthday, Mike. We love you over here. You know what I'm saying? Your boy Mose. Mike is the reason why Mose and Breezy are doing our own thing. Like, a lot of people don't know that we were nothing but Niners, and he gave us the platform, and then we just tried to take it off and spread our wings. So we got to give Mike his props, man. But happy birthday, old fella. Y'all, can y'all, this is what I want everybody to do, because Mike always talking shit. I want everybody to post the craziest meme picture of Mike and tag Mose and Breezy in it. You could tell him we sent you. We ain't scared of the motherfucker. Just tell him that we sent you. Put our names in that joint and wish him a happy birthday on Twitter. Can we all do that, please? Please, let's do that. All right. So happy birthday, Mike. We love you over here, bro, man. Keep repping what you keep doing what you're doing, bro. Keep up the great work. And we love you. All right. There it is. All right. 20 minutes. Nope. Still got kind of, let's just get into it. Guess what? There's no new injury updates, Mose.
Listen, Breezy, at this point, don't keep saying it, because I don't want to jinx it. Just because we didn't have it. We didn't have a string. And look at the correlation of our record and that. Like, first of all, Jimmy Garoppolo, 3 straight games, no interceptions, and 3 straight games with no serious severe injuries. What does that tell you about this team? If Jimmy can play clean football and we can stay healthy, we can win a lot of games. But at this point, we got to 3. That's cool. I don't think we need to keep mentioning it, because at some point,
I know
we're going to jinx it. So we got to just stop talking about it.
I'm trying, bro. But when Kyle comes out and says No new injuries to report.
Because his ass is surprised too. His pressers be 15 minutes long, and 13 of them minutes is we got Dre Greenlaw with this, we got Mooney Ward with
Wait a
this.
minute, because Dre did get dinged up in the game. He came out on a play. Mooney Ward came out on the play, but I think the whole thing is they came back and they're not injured, right?
Yeah.
Now, will they practice all week long? Probably not.
Probably not.
But this is good. It was good to come out of the game with 0 injuries to report.
Yeah.
I think the only thing we kind of, Mose, is this the week that they have to take Greenlaw off the IR? I mean, Kinlaw? I get the laws mixed up. Kinlaw.
Ooh. Is it?
I think this is the week, bro. Yo, all I'm saying is
if he don't come off the IR, is he done?
They could put him back on there. They could leave him on there, excuse me, but
if they leave him on here, he got to stay. He's done for the season, right?
I thought can't they take him off and then re-put him back on? Because they got 2 spots they could bring back still. And Trey Lance is still on the IR. I'm not saying he's gonna play this year, but he was walking. He was hopping, skipping, jumping in Mexico City. I don't know. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. We'll definitely find out. But guys, listen, no new injuries to report. As far as news, we're gonna break down some of these things because here's what the 49ers did, right? They broke a record. They set a record. They broke a record and then set a record, right? So 52 wins on Monday Night Football. Let's start there, Mose, because the 49ers have the most wins on Monday Night Football. It's close because the Steelers are next. So I can see the NFL making the Steelers play on Monday Night Football next year, somehow, some way, to tie this record. But then there's not even a second, third, or fourth place, bro. Like the Raiders are 10 below and whoever else is on that list. Like, how are you feeling about the 49ers just setting a record? And what does that mean for the team going forward, bro?
I think for us, it means that we're able to win on the big stage. We're able to win in a primetime game because eventually that's where we want to be. In the playoffs, those are primetime games. The Super Bowl, that's a primetime game. So that's where we want to be. So
Mo's got frozen, so he said,
I'm frozen?
Well, it's fixed now. I don't know what the hell happened, but it's all.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that's where we want to be. Primetime games is where we want to be. Playoffs is primetime. Super Bowl is primetime. That's where we want to be. So I don't know. I think we frozen again. Because now you frozen and I can't see. Hold on, let me drop out, bro.
So we still live. Don't know what happened, but we back. I think Moses straight. I don't know what that was. Apologize for the internet technical difficulties. We'll get Mose back up here real quick. Mose was talking about that. Can you guys hear me? Are we good? Mose, you was good. It's breezy. He said it was breezy. I froze. I did? Oh, well, it's good now. My bad. I was seeing Mose freeze on my end, and then I saw me freeze as well. So we back. That's all that matters, right? Hey, we back. All right, cool. So let's talk about this. I feel like the 49ers definitely they're setting records. I think the most important part about this for me is the fact that this young team are doing things, and the cool part about it is I feel like getting this milestone. I know that this particular team and Coach Shanahan didn't get all those wins, those 52 wins. It was over accumulated time just for the team legacy, but this adds to the legacy of the team. And I wrote an article about this on 49ers Web Zone. Make sure you guys check it out, 49erswebzone.com, about what some of these things mean. And this particular thing, in my opinion, just draws more attraction to the team. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh my gosh, they got another notch on their belt. They got the most. I get a chance to play on Monday Night Football with the 49ers, and I can add to that legacy. So that's where I'm coming from with the situation. Moses, I know you were speaking on it, and then we had the technical difficulties, but please, man, I was saying like how this thing was important. This milestone was important because it adds to the legacy of the team, and it can essentially get other players, other stars to want to come to this team to be a part of that legacy. What are your thoughts on just this accolade?
No, you're 100% correct. That's part of what I was going to get into. Just the fact that WayneBreezie, that's funny. Just the fact, yo, all this cooking downstairs knocked my internet up.
Oh man.
But we want to play on primetime games. Like that part of being in the NFL, not only winning and winning the Super Bowl, is being able to play in primetime games. And yo, Mose Froze and WayneBreezie. That's funny. Yo, I love the chat, bro. I love our chat. I'm not even gonna finish what I was saying, bro. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Now we gotta have Steve like
create
after this, like put ice around it.
Oh, that'd be fire. Steve, you got some work to do, bro. Sorry, man. Hey, man, what we do is we take our mishaps and the things that happen, we turn them into something positive. That's what we do over here, yo. Mose Froze and WayneBreezie. That's actually fire.
Mose Froze and WayneBreezie, that's crazy.
We just on a whole nother level. Oh, Jesus. No, Jesus. Don't do it again. I was just playing. I was just playing. Hold on, man. Let me make sure my internet is right. I'm connected. I'm plugged in.
Yeah, so am I. I even went downstairs and turned off the Wi-Fi.
Turned it back on.
Made sure I was on. No, I made sure I was on Ethernet.
Right, I'm on the Ethernet too. All right, let's get the show on and popping. Let's get in and get out.
Right. First place, they probably like that's what y'all get for taking 20 minutes.
Right. First place, ain't do it for 20 minutes, bro. We was
right. That whole first 20 minutes, we was cool. Soon as we started talking football, nope.
Let's do this, right? First place in the NFC West. Talk about it.
I mean, this is where we wanted to be. This is where we knew we could be. Obviously, we had a slow start to the season, so it wasn't materializing the way we thought it would. But I think all the pieces are starting to fall into place. We're getting healthy at the right time. Offense is starting to click. Defense is still number one in the league. All the things that are supposed to be happening are now happening. And now we just have to continue that and keep moving forward. They said my mic is off. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. They can't hear you?
I don't know. Let me check my settings to make sure I'm good.
All I know is you way gooder now.
Okay, that's better.
That's way better. All right, so look, 49ers are in first place. You said they had a slow start. I used the Lord's name in vain. What did I do that? Strange when you use the Lord's name in vain, you become breezy freezy. Big Papa never softened it and take it to the church, rob the preacher for the offering, leave the food cold for no blood in his pockets like rabbit is, covered the wife Kleenex for it. I forgot how dope Big was, bro. I totally did. But I don't remember using the Lord's name in vain. My bad. Sorry. Kenneth says that the audio sounds funny. Melissa says much better. I wish I could have said that at the very beginning when Mose gave that whole soliloquy. You know what I'm saying? Y'all failing out there. Y'all messing up. Look, first place in the NFC West means a lot. And for me, I talked about it in the article. for 49ers Web Zone. I said, listen, man, this is what you call motivation, right? Because you said they started off slow, right? They had to get acclimated to playing one another. Then they had injuries. They had all these things kind of like factor in. And right now, things are coming like right into fruition for the 49ers, right? Everything is coming right into place at the right time. I think that's the most important part. And so you're seeing players play on certain levels. And you know what, Mose? I know that we don't do this often on this show, but I'm gonna give a round of applause. When I said the Lord's name in vain, I'm sorry. John Lynch for going out getting Christian McCaffrey might have been the best move in season he's ever made in his entire career. Better than trading for Jimmy Garoppolo, and this is not a shot at Jimmy. It's not a shot at Jimmy. Better for trading for Jimmy Garoppolo midseason. This might be, matter of fact, we should do that as a poll question at some point. Like what, like that move right there helps separate the 49ers from being mediocre, trying to get better, to going to another speed. And yes, Christian McCaffrey's that dynamic. What are your thoughts about that? And the reason why I'm asking is because we're seeing a whole different 49ers, bro.
I think he has more comfortability with Christian McCaffrey catching the ball out of the backfield. And, you know, again, no slight at any of our other running backs. I don't think there was that trust there. And I think the trust just came from every time he checks down to Christian McCaffrey, it's not just a catch and then a tackle. Christian is always making the first guy miss. He's always making the first guy miss. So I think what we've seen from Jimmy is if the play is developing how it should, and he can hit Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel or Jawan Jennings or George Kittle down the field, he does that. But if it's not breaking down, instead of him holding on to the ball longer than he needs to, he's checking it down to Christian, knowing that if I check this down, he's going to get 5, 6, 7 or more yards when I just get the ball in his hands. And I think that's opening a lot up for the rest of the offense, because now the linebackers have to key on Christian sneaking out of the backfield. They can't just cheat and help double Jawan Jennings or George Kittle or Deebo Samuel coming across the middle. They have to have eyes on Christian McCaffrey at all times, and that's leaving space behind those linebackers that Jimmy can pick apart. So, yeah, I mean, it's helping open up a lot of things and helping Jimmy be more efficient passing the football.
John says better than Trent Williams. So I think my preface was like in-season trade.
In-season, yeah.
Right? So Trent was like during the draft.
Correct.
Definitely a great trade. That was probably the best trade that he's made, period. But no, and mid-season, better than so let me think of the mid-season trades that we did. It was Jimmy Garoppolo, that was their first one. Emmanuel Sanders was their second one.
Yep.
And then now it's CMC, right? Am I missing anybody? Right? They traded away players, but to get draft picks, but they've never. I'm talking about trading for players,
for an impact player to make a difference on your team. No,
correct. And
they've all been on the offensive side of the ball, none on the defensive side.
Oh snap! Oh yeah, you're right. Now, yeah, that's crazy. And that lets you know that they build the defense in the draft.
Correct.
And they supplement the offense through free agency or trade. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are peeping that. Like, that's something that the 49ers are doing. Pay attention to that, because that's going to go a long way for the tenure. I don't see anything happening to John or Kyle ever. Like, as long as they want to do what they're doing, they're going to continue building what we call a dynasty. Do you believe?
Callie. I was just thinking that, and then I looked in the comments. You can consider Omenihu an in-season trade. So there was one on the defense.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you can consider Omenihu and he was an in-season trade. Now that I think about it, but his impact this year is far superior than what it was last year when he was getting acclimated to the game.
Yeah,
I think Omenihu is one of the top defensive players in the league, in my opinion. And I know you're not getting a
he's
lot.
He's definitely one of the top pass rushers.
Right. That's what I mean. Right. But like his volume might not be as much. but it's starting to ramp up due to the injury or whatever. But he's effective, and I think I'd rather have effectiveness from him than that high crazy volume of just numbers. But look at his joint, yo. He's like under Nick Bosa when you're talking about the pressure rate in the NFL. Like he's under the Nick Bosa. Like he's in the same category, and no one's giving this man props. Shout out to Charles Omenihu. Round of applause. Omenihu. I said it wrong. Terradome says, look, the check down is now a positive play. But I've been wanting to see check down since 2017. And I thought Jet McKinnon was supposed to be this.
Yes. What Kyle envisioned Jet McKinnon being was his version of Christian McCaffrey. That's what he saw. And unfortunately, the ACL just didn't allow that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I do wish we would have saw, because even McKinnon now with the Chiefs is not the same. He's not the same player he was pre-injury. The player he was in Minnesota,
super explosive.
Yo, if he would have had a better offensive coordinator in Minnesota, we would be talking about Jerick McKinnon like we talk about Christian McCaffrey and how we talk about Alvin Kamara. And I think pre-injury, he was more explosive and faster, just straight line speed, than both CMC and Alvin Kamara. He was on his way to being different.
He was different.
Mm-hmm. And Kyle knew it is what it is. Kyle knew that.
Kyle knew that.
Kyle knew that, and that's why he went to go get him.
Mm-hmm. And that's why they overpaid for him. And they overpaid for him not just because he knew that. They had to overpay for him because they had to spend money. I think people forget that they had to spend that cap money. And so that's why Juice got overpaid.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, the return on McKinnon wasn't as great because due to the injuries. And you're right, they do utilize him different. He's more of a running back, like a power back in Kansas City right now. Short lines, short stuff. He's not that weapon out of the backfield. But back to CMC, bro. When you look at CMC and his addition, he was like the key to unlock the offense. And it's crazy because Mose, you have every permission to slap the taste out of my mouth. I'm going to say this, and you're not going to agree with it, and it's okay. But I got a reason why I'm saying this. I think Christian McCaffrey is the key to unleashing the Kraken, right? He's the key, right? I still think Elijah Mitchell is the better running back.
You're actually not off base.
Okay.
And it's semantics with the words. But if you say better pure running back, like just runner with the football, like
that's
getting the handoff.
Just left out the pure.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Getting the handoff, finding the hole, hitting the hole with explosiveness, and picking up solid yards. And then the yards after first contact, finishing runs. I don't think you can disagree with that. I think Christian McCaffrey is a better overall football player.
100%.
Just because of what he can do in the run game, what he can do in the pass game, what he can do with the ball in his hands, how he can be utilized on the field. But if we're talking about just strictly running back, like if you had to give each of those running backs 30 plus carries, who would have a better game? I think a lot of people would disagree and say, well, it depends on how you call that game.
No, I can't say that. Please, no. Come back, Mose. Come back. All right, so I think what Mose was saying is, oh, you're back. I think you're back. You're back. You good. We got you.
Oh, I don't know what's happening, bro. Because you didn't freeze on me.
It was brain farts for the internet. That's all it is, bro. Don't even sweat it anymore. It's just brain farts on the internet.
Yeah. But yeah, go ahead.
Finish up your thing because I'm with you.
Yeah, I just think if you gave both of them 30 carries each, a lot of people might say Mitchell might have a better game if it's just strictly carries, if you don't add in any pass receptions. So I see where you're going with it.
First of all, we're blessed to have both of them.
Yes,
right?
For sure.
Because it's like it's like night and day or day and night, but the night is good and so is the day. I would say that Christian McCaffrey is the day and Elijah Mitchell is the night, right? He was fine the whole time. Freezy is trolling you, Wolves. Bro, I'm just whatever. All right, you know what? I see what y'all doing. Paul will be here Friday, I believe, Paul. And I'm gonna troll the hell out of Paul Hope. Say that right now. But nah, seriously, man. Like, this is a good problem or situation to have. I was there at the game, and I'm saying to myself, put Elijah Mitchell in the game. What is going on here? The moment they put Elijah Mitchell in the game, the rushing went from 39 yards, and we ended up finishing with 167 or something like that. I don't have the rushing right for me. I can get it. But
159.
159. And that was because you had a downhill runner running downhill. And there was one play, he got tackled for 4 yards. Like he ran into the line and still got 4 yards on the carry. Yep. The 49ers averaged 5.87 yards a carry in this game, bro. Like, that's ridiculous. And all of Elijah Mitchell's runs were explosive. Like, they weren't just like whatever. Now, this is not to shade for Christian McCaffrey. I still think the reason why Elijah Mitchell is able to do that is because McCaffrey is the key to unleashing the Kraken.
So here's what we said. It says defense can't handle Fresh Mitchell after 30 minutes of football. Here's me and my cousin. Shout out to Chi-Town Sid Brown. Me and him were talking during the game, and he was saying the same thing you were saying, like, why aren't we seeing Mitchell? Why aren't we seeing Mitchell? Why aren't we seeing Mitchell? And then we see Mitchell in the second half. I don't know if this is Kyle's thought process, but here's just what I was able to deduce. I could be wrong, but I feel like we start the game with Christian McCaffrey. We get the defense all discombobulated, like he's running the ball, he's catching the ball. We still got to deal with Debo. He's catching the ball. He's running the ball. Ayuk is routing us up. Like that first touchdown, that wiggle route, oh my goodness, he put homie on skates. So like, and then we got to worry about Kittle now, getting behind the defense and making big plays. We got to worry about all of this stuff. And then the defense goes in at halftime and it's making adjustments to stop all of this stuff. And then Kyle comes back in the second half and it's back to basics. Now I'm going to kill you with Elijah Mitchell just running power, running right down your throat, right through the gut of the defense. Y'all already tired and exhausted. Y'all made adjustments for what we were doing in the first half. Now we just going to simplify it and kill you with the running game. And now mentally and physically you're beat up. Because mentally you're like, oh, well, we made adjustments for this. They're not even doing that anymore. So maybe in Kyle's offense, CMC is the first half back and Elijah Mitchell is the second half back. Now, what does that also do? That keeps both of them healthy and fresh.
Yes.
Because each of them aren't touching the ball 25, 30, 40 times.
Yeah. It's whatever it is, it's working. I look, when you watch this game, first of all, like just a quick memory recap, like the defense came out, punched them in the mouth. I thought that was dope, right? Then the 49ers got the ball, couldn't do nothing with it on offense, went 3 and out. And they went 3 and out because two things. There should have been two things on that 3 and out. First of all, George Kittle should have got a penalty on that hit. He got hit in the head by Isaiah Simmons, but they didn't call it, right? Same thing we saw last week with Greenlaw. Should have been an ejection and a penalty. Defenseless guy, blah, 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 blah. Boom, boom, boom. Nope, doesn't happen for the 49ers. So I'm like, okay, George Kittle is one tough son of a gun, bro. Fine, no problem. Part of the Kraken. Second thing, Jimmy Garoppolo drops back on a 3rd and long. The ball was beautifully thrown. I mean, if Jennings had a little bit more speed, he probably would have made that catch. But I thought it was PI. They said his feet got tangled up. I watched the feet. It more like Juwan tripped over his feet, but he was still pushed in the back. So I'm like, if you're pushed in the back, how is that not PI? Maybe you can correct me on that. I still thought it was some form of pass interference.
Because they're not going to call it if there was.
It was before the tripping, though. So it was before.
No, it was after.
It was after.
It was after.
I thought the push on the back.
Yeah, so like his foot, when he was running, his foot clipped his calf muscle. So you see the foot clip the calf muscle and he start to go down.
Okay.
And then the corner just has his arms extended. But because he was going down off of the trip and not to force him to push, because you don't see the corner like put it in a pushing motion. His arms is just extended so that he can stay in phase and just feel where the wide receiver is as he's trying to look back for the ball. But because he tripped first, and that was the cause of why he was going down, they're not going to call PI on that.
I bet you $100 if that happened on the other side of the field to the other team. I bet you if that was
meaning us,
they would have called PI.
I don't disagree with you, bro.
I'm just saying it'd be what it is. So at that moment, I was saying to myself, all right, we already know how this game gonna go. You know what I'm saying? We get it. But anyway, they ended up coming out. So I want to talk about the 49ers' first touchdown. Because a lot of people aren't really, they're talking about it, but I got a little different take, and I'll put it on Twitter after the show. But there was that first touchdown, there was one particular thing that stood out to me more than anything, more than the route, more than anything. And I'm going to go ahead and play it. I'm going to share it with everybody. We're going to watch this joint. Hold on 1 second, guys. Let me just put that on pause. Not pause, but let me get rid of this banner. And so we'll watch this joint like in its entirety. This is the first touchdown to BA, as you can see. And this is what was really cool. Let's watch it from both views, right? So you can see Jimmy Garoppolo in that shotgun formation. You guys getting a little preview of what we do when we break down film, all right? And so you can count the running backs out there, because I don't know, Mose, but I see one running back, which means we got 3 wide receivers, and I'm looking at the touchdown. So it's 3 wide outs to the left. You see Charlie Warner, George Kittle's not in on this play, and then you see Christian McCaffrey in the back row. So in my opinion, this is what we call 11 personnel.
11
one
personnel,
back, 1 tight end, 3 wideouts. All right, guys. So when you're looking at this play, you can see Juwan Jennings out there. I think he's in the is he in the slot? And then you got Brandon Ayuk, and then you got Debo split out to the left. Now to the left. Now you're gonna watch Ayuk. That's the route. That's where Jimmy's going. But this is the most important part of this play for me. Watch Jimmy go through his progressions. Just watch. He hikes the ball right there. He's looking. Now he's gonna look first to this angle route. So you can see this choice route right there up at the top, right? It's not open. I don't know why it's so blurry or whatever.
You sure that wasn't Kittle? I thought that said 85 on the back of that.
It could have said 85. It looked like 89. Oh, it is 85. All right. So there's Kittle in there.
So,
right?
so if you look at it from the first angle, Kittle was actually the first read.
He was the first read. But Jimmy looked there. He looked at Kittle.
Yep, he looked there first.
McCaffrey.
Yep.
Yep.
And then he came back left. I love it. And I'm glad that you're pointing this out, because this was one of the things that we were worried about with him. This was one of the things that we said, he's a one-read quarterback. I think he's gotten so comfortable in this offense, in this scheme, and he's gotten more comfortable with the players around him that no, he's no longer a one-read. He looked at Kittle and he saw the bracket coverage. Then obviously, it's levels. Kyle loves levels in his scheme. Then he comes down to Christian McCaffrey and says, okay, Kittle is breaking that route to the outside. So this linebacker is sitting. He can either break on the Kittle throw, or he can break on the Christian McCaffrey throw. He's in perfect position where he can break on either one of these as soon as the ball leaves my hand. And he has enough speed and enough football IQ, intelligence, and agility to be able to close that gap, and if not intercept the ball, make it an incomplete pass. So these 2 options are not good options. Let me see if I have a better option over here. And what do you know? BA routes up his guy and is wide open. Jimmy throws it through a perfect window, touchdown. I think it's absolutely amazing that you picked this play out, because we're now starting to see, as long as we've waited for it, we are starting to see an upward trajectory of what Jimmy Garoppolo is able to do. And he's starting to, progress and put it all together.
That's what I'm trying to say. So, like, a lot of people were upset. Oh, you're bad mouthing Jimmy. Yeah, because he wasn't progressing. And again, the key to unlocking or unleashing the Kraken. Who's the only piece that wasn't here?
CMC.
I'm just saying, bro. All we do on here is spit facts. It's in the theme song. It's in the song. We spitting facts, whether y'all like it or not. CMC has been the key to unleashing the Kraken. regardless of what his role is on the team. Doesn't matter if he's the greatest running back. No, doesn't matter. Just like it doesn't matter if Deebo Samuel was wide receiver 1 or 2. He's still the weapon you need to get the ball to, so it can unleash certain things. It can unlock certain abilities. You want to know why Brandon Ayuk's having a banging ass year, bro? Ask Deebo. Go ahead, Mose. You tapped in.
You know what also we love to do here?
What do we love to do here, bro?
We love to bring things full circle.
Full circle, bro.
This is why
we need a show called Full Circle.
We do. Hey. This is why Breezie gave respect and props to John Lynch. Because as the general manager, you have to understand where your team has a shortcoming. And unfortunately, this team's shortcoming was in the running back room. Not to say that Jeff Wilson Jr. wasn't doing a good job. Not to say that Elijah Mitchell is not capable. That's not what we're saying at all. But this offense is different. And you have to realize and understand that, like, certain coaches and certain teams and certain schemes, they have what they are known for. There are certain Andy Reid, he has a specific thing that he's known for. Other offensive coordinators, the other good play callers, they have what they're known for. What is one thing that Kyle Shanahan is known for, and he got it from his dad, and that is a dynamic running game.
Let me ask you this.
And a dynamic running back. And we had that.
We had it.
With Raheem Mostert. First teams didn't know who he was.
But he couldn't stay healthy, Mose. That was his only
issue. That was the only thing. But when he was healthy and when he was on the field, teams were worried about that and scared about Kyle's offense. Why? Because he was a one-play touchdown. Matt Breida had so much speed, he couldn't stay healthy. But when he was in there, he was a one-play touchdown. We remember the play that happened against the Browns on Monday Night Football in 2019. Tevin Coleman, he was so dynamic, not only running the ball, but also catching the ball out of the backfield. When we didn't have those guys anymore, and when Elijah Mitchell was hurt, and we didn't have the combination of Jeff Wilson and Elijah Mitchell, our offense struggled a little bit. Now with the insertion of Christian McCaffrey and all that he's able to do from an offensive standpoint, it's really, really opening a lot of things up. So again, like Breezie said, shout out to John Lynch for making that call, because he saw our offense isn't clicking. Why? I know what my head coach wants. I know what he needs. This is going to open things up. And now we see the fruits of that.
And it's crazy because this is not a downgrade, like you said, or downplay to any one of the running backs, right?
No.
But I love Elijah Mitchell as a running back. They were trying to get him to do everything that they're getting CMC to do. And Elijah Mitchell is just not a route runner. He's not a route up guy. I think the 49ers got 2 route up guys, right? They got CMC and Brandon Ayuk. Them guys will route you up, right? That's the difference. This trade was probably one of the greatest trades in 49ers history, bro. Like, and not to keep them afloat. I remember writing something about saying, does this now make us a contender? And a lot of people say, oh, we were already contenders, blah, blah, blah. No. We were struggling trying to get to 500 football. Now you guys are actually seeing what the dynamic of a Christian McCaffrey is going to do for this team. And it's only because of this. Somebody said it on one of the commentators said it, I believe, on ESPN. A matter of fact, I think it was Troy Aikman. He was like, man, like, who are you going to defend? Like, which guy? Kyle Shanahan got. This is why I said if they could get OBJ as well, get all the weapons. I don't care who get the ball. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Mo, do you care who scores on the 49ers, or do you just want them to score?
I have 49ers on my fantasy team, but my fantasy team is a distant second to my 49ers. I don't care who scores. As long as we score 38 points and we're allowing our defense to rest and allowing our number one defense to actually be a number one defense and show that on every drive. If we putting up points, I don't care who gets in the end zone, because us getting in the end zone means we have a higher probability of winning. I don't care if this week it was Ayuk twice and it was Kittle twice. Next week it could be Debo twice and CMC twice. The week after that, Mitchell could get 3 touchdowns because we're getting it right into the red zone and we're just handing him the ball off and he's punching it in. I don't care. As long as we getting it in the end zone, as long as we are improving our red zone percentage, which before this game and other games, our red zone percentage was kind of low.
It was really low.
Getting in the red zone. The week before this, who did we play?
20%, 2 for 5.
2 for 5. So we have to. If we can go from 2 to 5 every game to 4 out of 5 every game, 5 out of 5, I'm cool. I know it's not going to be 100% every game, but if we can get from 2 out of 5 to 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, we know with this defense we need to score 17 points. If we can get to 17, but if we can make that 21, 24, 27, we can make it harder for some of these teams to try to come back. And we saw it in this Cardinals game. At a certain point, they gave up.
Yes.
They was like, all right, starters out. Yep. We waving a white flag. Let's just get out of here.
Yep.
And let's get back to Arizona. And then that's when we put our second string players in because they had given up at that point. So if we can make teams give up, if we can make teams throw in that white flag and just want the game to be over to move on to the next week, that's more of a benefit for us as a team.
I just wanted to say, send us a quick shout out to Miss Leslie Klinger. Thank you so much for tuning in. Go ahead and get your work on, girl. We appreciate you over here. And thanks for watching. But my man Tommy says something, and I gotta go back and find it. There it is. This isn't a run first team now. There's so many ways I could break this down. Okay, but I'm gonna leave it at what he said. It's no longer a run first team. So then the question is probably, well, what type of a team is it, Mose? If it's not a run first team, what type of a team is it? What would you say that this type of team is? And then I'll share mine after. You probably got my answer anyway.
A lot of people want to say it's a pass first team. I'd say this team is hybrid.
Okay.
This team is whatever it needs to be. But that's the reason why Kyle wants to be so multiple. That's why he wants so many people that can do so many different things, because his play calling, his script is dictated based off of the team that he's going against. So we are a hybrid team. Yeah, we're not run first. We're not pass first. We're whatever the first needs to be in order to get a lead, put these teams behind the 8 ball, and then allow our defense to go hunt. And that's the position that you want to be in.
I think the key thing that you said was to allow the defense to go hunt. When the defense can play hunt type style of football, where they're just on the prowl, on the attack, do you see what the defense does? Speaking of that, another accolade for the 49ers. Round of applause. 3 straight games, second half shutouts. 3 straight games, second half shutouts. I tell you what, the Kansas City Chiefs game was their awakening. That was where they said, and the crazy thing is, they still had a chance to win that game, and then they just laid out. They let it out.
Yeah.
They laid down. Same way the Cardinals laid down. They just laid down.
We got within 1 score at one point, didn't we?
It was like 5 or 6 points.
Yeah, we got within 1 score, and then they just allowed them to score again, and then again and again and again and again and again. We all know what happens, but
we all know what happens. But my point is, it was a game where they woke up. They woke the freak up, because then they got right. Then they took a bye, and then they got right twice after the bye. 49ers are on a 3-game winning streak. They got the next 3 out of their next 3 out of 4 games are at home before they hit the road again to Seattle. Okay. The 49ers got 3 home games coming up that I feel like are winnable. All right. We'll talk about that on tomorrow's show, but I feel like they're winnable, right? I feel like the 49ers can go 3-0. I got a poll on Twitter going right now. Speaking of that, everybody that's giving super chats, I truly appreciate it. Mose and I really appreciate you. We're going to save that segment for the very end of the show. So if you want to give a super chat, please do so. We did at the very beginning. We're going to do it at the very end. And for all those that became members, don't worry. I'm highlighting you, and I'm going to give you your praise and your flowers. And thank you so much for becoming members of the WayneBreezie channel. I appreciate you guys. All right. Did anybody win the score predictions? Christy wants to know. Christy, it was so hard for me to check internet in Mexico for some strange reason, but I will go through it today, and then I will do the winner on tomorrow's show. I promise. All right. Look, we got some questions coming in for Q&A. Mose, I want to give Duke grades very quickly, and I want to know if you touch and agree with me on my grades. All right. So guys, you guys know I grade a little differently. Sometimes it's harsh, sometimes it's not. All right. So passing offense, I gave an A+, man. 4 TDs, 0 sacks, 228 yards. What are your thoughts on that?
First of all, the touchdown pass to Ayuk.
That was my favorite. Somebody asked me about that.
We just went over that. Jimmy going through his progressions, but then the touchdown, the first touchdown pass to Kittle, his second,
that was beautiful.
Him stepping up in the pocket
Mm-hmm.
and putting the right amount of touch on the ball for it to go over those linebackers, fall into Kittle's breadbasket, and then give him the ability to get his head upfield, make a man miss, and get into the end zone. I can't disagree with that A+. I mean, Jimmy played an outstanding game. Our offensive line, you know, the talk has been all week about
7 total pressures. I know this.
The talk has been all week about you know, whether Trent Williams is tipping plays or not. The real premise of that wasn't Trent Williams. Shout out to my brother Jesse. The real premise of that is, how does that affect the other 4 offensive linemen on the line who are not as good as Trent Williams?
Mm-hmm.
But I can understand the healthy discourse around it. Yeah. I even had, you know, some disagreements that, you know, me and Jesse talked about, you know, right on Twitter, you know, through the post itself. But this offensive line played absolutely phenomenally all across the board. Again, like, you had 0 sacks there.
Especially
especially in pass pro. Jimmy had a clean pocket. Can't ask for anything else from all facets of this passing offense. I agree with your A+.
All right. So there we go. Mose and I agree on that one. All right. Rushing offense. I gave it a touchdown, 28 carries, 159 yards, but they averaged 5.7 a carry. And the run blocking, in my opinion, was damn near just as great as you can get it. I mean, when you got Jake Brendel down the field, not getting
30 yards downfield, pancake blocking Buda Baker.
Bro. No, and the most important part, there wasn't a penalty.
None.
I want to, like, listen, Johnny Dell and I ripped him a new one on our breakdown video. Like, he was probably the worst offensive lineman we've seen in a minute. But man, we give constructive criticism, guys. I know a lot of people they get upset when we talk bad about play. It's constructive criticism, and either players are going to listen to it or they're not. Like, that's up to them. That's their prerogative. But at the end of the day, when you see them go from worst to first, guess what they were doing? Listening to the constructive criticism, learning how to be better. Jake Brendel, I know he wasn't.
And if y'all think is not to cut you off, if they think it's bad from us, what do you think them coaches is saying? For those of you who have never played football and have never done anything to piss off your coach, it's not pretty.
Yeah, I agree. He did have the illegal snap. That was that little fumble exchange with Jimmy Garoppolo. Terradoma's pointing out he did. But I'm just talking about in blocking. I didn't say we didn't get any penalties, because we did. But in blocking, I just thought that the offensive line, period, run block, pass block. Speaking of run blocking, yo, Trent Williams had the highest run blocking grade, like, of any lineman in football this game, yo. Hey, man, look, Trent, you keep on tipping, bro. Whatever it is you're doing, here's my thing about it. I think my discourse was more like, who cares? If it doesn't help the rest of the offensive line, then they just got to do what they got to do to be better. I think Trent's been playing a certain way his whole career, and we're happy that he's excelling and being the number 1 rated guy. And if that's what he's been doing to do that, fine. The other rest of the guys, they better learn a page out of the book or something, because it's working. And he was doing it in this game. And if we're saying that the offensive line was better, it's not affecting them.
Here's where I think this is where a lot of the people who did have discourse and, you know, were against what was being said about Trent tipping plays. The 2 players who worked out with him this offseason, are having phenomenal years. Aaron Banks has still yet to give up a sack, and he's right next to Trent. So obviously, whatever he's learning from the Silverback has been working. For Spencer Burford to not only start, but him and Daniel Brunskill, they still rotate. And that's usually uncommon for an offensive line. You want to build cohesiveness. You want to build that chemistry. It's usually uncommon for offensive linemen to rotate, but they still want to build and develop Spencer Burford while utilizing some of the good play from Daniel Brunskill. And I'm gonna give him his R because he hasn't given me a reason to take the R from him yet.
Go ahead, Brunskill. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
But to see the fact that we have a rookie who's still rotating with a veteran, and we have our second-year guard playing dynamite football. I mean,
right. I'm going to add to that because I know they have the correction out there. And they're right. It was Jason Poe and Banks. I mean, Jason Poe and Burford. He took the young guys in. But let me give you where Moses going with this, because if you line up next to Trent Williams, and Aaron Banks has said it himself about Trent Williams. He might not have worked out with him this summer, but the fact that Trent has been working with him overall is the reason why he's having the type of season. Now, he has to have the athleticism and the skill set to do it, not
which he does,
and the mindset,
which he does.
Because if y'all don't know, if it wasn't for Trent Williams, Lincoln Tomlinson wouldn't have been a Pro Bowler.
Nope, because he wasn't in Detroit.
So Trent makes you better. If you're gonna line up on his side, you best believe that's like you're the guru, right? And now I'm coming into you. We're doing a show together, right? And you're great at what you do. I'm gonna be up there on study and learn. I'm not trying to be better than you, but I'm trying to be better than you. Like, that's at the end of the day, it's that friendly competition. That's what Aaron Banks is doing just from the great Trent Williams, all the stuff he's able to pass down. So they're right. I don't think Banks worked out with this summer. He didn't take those two in and into Houston. I think it was Poe and Burford.
Yeah,
but
it was.
Aaron Banks is a better player because he's able to line up next to Trent Williams.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to put that out there. Thank you guys for the correction. We truly appreciate that. Whatever. Again, guys, you guys are giving super chats and we appreciate it. We're going to get to that. Let's finish up this grade section. We'll do the super chat segment, the poll segment. I got an announcement to make from Mrs. Debbie, and then we'll get on up out of here. Right, guys? Get ready. Start getting that cooking done. You see, Mo's already started earlier. I'm going to be cooking today at some point as soon as we finish. Passing defense, I gave it A+, bro. 2 picks, 247 yards. No TDs on the passing defense.
This one I might disagree. Underneath.
No, that's fine. I want to hear why.
This one I might disagree. I'm gonna have to give them a B+.
Okay.
I think Arizona's only scoring drive came from I don't know if it was a busted cover. I know it may not have been a busted coverage, but it was the run out of the back. It was the pass out of the backfield to number 83. So it was a missed tackle, not a busted. I think Fred missed the tackle,
but it was a penalty too. So
and then somebody in the secondary missed the tackle too.
Nah, it was just Fred. So this is what happened. It was a penalty. It was an offsides on Nick Bosa, right? He jumped.
I remember that.
I don't know if that messes up stuff from the defense. Like, you know what I mean? Now, Fred, you got to play it out. But Fred was on a wide receiver. That's not a running back. That was a wide receiver. He ended up missing the tackle. The receiver got shifty on him or skinny on him. He missed the tackle. Fred, you can't miss that tackle. Okay? Fred, I'm looking at you, Fred. Can't miss that tackle. Fred misses that tackle. Luckily, Talanoa Hufanga was able to tackle him down. I think you might be right to where Tashawn Gibson was supposed to be in the place to be there, and he wasn't.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're talking about in the secondary. But I think again, offsides threw it all off.
And I mean, he had that one big one for 47. But I mean, Greg Dortch 9 catches for 103. D-Hop is going to get his 9 for 91, and then AJ 5 for 50.
That's your 247. To take out that 50-yard, that 47-yarder, that doesn't normally happen, bro.
Yeah, if you take out that 47-yarder, then that's 230 in the air. That's why I'm going B+. I just want them to be a little bit more sticky than I know it sounds like I'm being greedy. I'm not saying that they didn't play well.
I don't think it sounds like you're being greedy. Oh shoot. I
No,
don't
you
think
good.
I don't think it sounds like you're being greedy. It's just more like I think that's the style that they playing. Like
Yeah, but
underneath,
my thing is it going to get worse when we play better passing teams?
I'm trying to think
Like
who's
we gotta face Philly that got AJ Brown and
nah,
Devontae Smith,
I doubt
and
it.
then we gotta face Minnesota
Uh,
that got Justin Jefferson that's
I,
cooking
bro,
everything right now.
I think that this team plays to the competition. And I know that they'll play. I expect more press, more man on some of those guys. Now they're gonna end up they're gonna end up moving them around. But I think playing the way that they're playing right now, not getting beat deep, because that's what you don't want. If you get cooked underneath, that's that's what you playing. Like if you playing back off coverage and then you're gonna get cooked underneath, you're saying that your secondary, your linebackers are quick enough to make the tackles to prevent from getting a big run like the one we saw in this particular game. I don't see any of these wide receivers doing what we saw that what's his name? Dorchet, whatever his name is.
Dortch.
Dortch. I don't see anyone doing that from the teams that you're mentioning. I just don't. I don't see any other wide receivers. Can they do it? Yeah, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen dudes from Minnesota do stuff like that. They do have some.
You got that mustard seed faith.
I just
I
listen.
love it.
Justin Jefferson is the man downfield. Don't get beat deep by him. Can he route you up? Sure.
Yeah.
But is he going to come out of the backfield and get you a big explosive play like that? I doubt it. You might get that man hurt. And so that's all I'm saying, bro. It's not that he can't. I just don't think they would utilize their best piece to do something like that. Like Debo's built for that. So when we were using Debo to do stuff like he's built. Justin Jefferson ain't built for the backfield, bro. And they used that little small dude. He was quick, man. He was fast. I ain't even gonna stunt. He was super fast.
Dortch got speed.
He got speed. And they had to use him because we took Rondell Moore out of the game. So
yeah, we
like,
did.
oh man, I tell you.
Yeah.
So you get what I'm saying?
No, I hear what you're saying. I just know that
you're
like
right, though. I'm just
the competition is going to get better than what we saw against Arizona. Because I minus the players,
yeah,
everybody knows Cliff Kingsbury ain't it. His scheme just ain't gonna get it done. But we're gonna go against some other really good offensive minds in the NFL. So I would hope that we're using these games as tune-up games.
Okay.
For better competition. And then when we get into the tournament. So yeah, I don't want to sound like I'm being greedy, and thank you for telling me that I'm not. But Perk Dog just said it. I know that our secondary can play much better than this.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, listen, if they do what I say and just put Samuel Womack on the field, because like I said on our last show on Nitty Gritty Niners,
he's a football player.
He's always around the football. He helped pin them in the 5-yard line. And I don't care if it was an interception in garbage time. It was an interception that allowed this defense to have 3 straight games of not giving up any points in the second half. So it was him being in the right place at the right time, playing the coverage that was called, and he got the interception for the defense that finally closed out the game. So, like, Samuel Womack needs to be on the football field. Get Jimmy out of the slot, put him back at free safety. Love what Tashaun Gibson is doing, but put Jimmy back at free safety. Let Samuel Womack play the slot. Have Demo and Mooney on the outsides, and let them dudes play ball, yo.
Listen, we're going to talk about that on another show, because I can tell you right now, Samuel Womack should be out on the field because good things always tend to happen when he's out on that field. And if you want him to get better, then he needs to play. The question is where I can find you 2-3 spots where he could be out there on that field. All right. If you're going to rotate offensive linemen, you can rotate secondary. All right, here we go. Russian defense. I gave him a solid A, bro. 67 yards. I know they gave up that TD on the goal line. That was mainly because that one busted freaking play, which is what got him in there. I can tell you right now, though, Mose, if that busted play didn't happen, I don't think Arizona would have scored a touchdown, bro.
Nope.
And so Russian defense, I felt like they did their thing. They didn't give up 100 rushing yards, and they're pretty solid. And listen, when you're talking about guys that aren't Eric Armstead, and we might be able to have a good argument that Hassan Ridgeway is better than Javon Kinlaw.
Listen, y'all might kill me for this.
Ain't nobody kill you on my show, bro.
I'll go as far to say T.Y. McGill is better than Javon Kinlaw because the way he played on Monday night with the combination of Ridgeway and the combination of Kevin Givens. So, like, our rotation now in that middle is solid. Ridgeway, McGill, and Givens, they're all now putting it together. They're learning how to rush together. I think we bringing in Ridgeway. It was his first year. It's his first year in the scheme. So he kind of had to figure some things out. T.Y. McGill is coming from Minnesota. This is his first year in the scheme. He got to figure out things and figure out how he's rushing. Kevin Givens is still growing and developing and maturing in this system. But now I think Monday you saw what the potential of that interior line is. That's why I really don't care if Kinlaw comes back. As long as Eric Armstead can come back and be healthy, and now you can add somebody who we know is a game wrecker on the interior, and then you can rotate Ridgeway, Givens, and T.Y. McGill and keep that interior healthy. I agree. Hey, all the way. They played phenomenally on that interior, and as a defensive tackle, love to see it.
And people were probably trying to figure out why I didn't give him an A+. That's funny because I gave the passing defense an A+, who gave up more yards, but they didn't give up the score. Now, this team would have got an A+ if they had made a goal line stance or whatever. They would have got an A++++, because they would have been able to overcompensate that. But I tell you what, Russian defense was good. Not only in like stopping the run, the Russian defense was able to get to the quarterback, right? So like,
yes, Kevin Givens had a sack.
That not, in my opinion, a DJ Jones-esque type of a sack where he
looked like it. Move guy out the way, and he's so quick from point A to point B. It was a straight line right to Colt McCoy, and you know Colt McCoy is not getting out of that sack. He's not Kyler Murray. You don't have to worry about him trying to escape or doing something crazy. It was a straight line. He got there in 1.6 seconds.
I was going to say,
him to the ground.
If that was a 10-yard split,
that's a good combine 10-yard split. That's a 1-4, 1-4-5, 10-yard split, 1-5. That's something that's really good. Solid 10-yard split.
And that's the number that they look for. When you guys start watching our combine shows, stop worrying about the 40 time and pay attention.
Especially for the big dudes. Especially for the big dudes.
Mainly for the big dudes. Pay attention to the 10-yard split, because right there, Kevin Givens was able to get home. All right, man. And so last but not least, that was the Russian D. Special teams. I gave it A. 0 mistakes.
We would have had two punts pinned inside the 5 at the 1-yard line. Had it not been for the rain in Mexico that made Tavarius Moore slide. All he did was slide.
He slipped. It was a slip.
If it had not been for the wet conditions on the field, we'd have had 2 punts at the 1-yard line inside the 5. Robbie Gould, good as gold as normal. No penalties, no block in the back, no offsides, no holding, no fumbles from Ray McLeod. Thank you, Ray. Special teams did his thing.
That is. So my overall grade, Mose, was a 97. That's the highest grade I've given the 49ers all season long.
And I think this is probably the only game where they deserve a grade that high.
Listen, Mose, they were firing on all cylinders, okay? From the coaching all the way down to carrying out the new balls onto the field for Jimmy Garoppolo to get good grips on the ball, right? Look, this is the type of football that you said earlier that is going to get, the competition obviously is going to get harder. I mean, but for the 49ers, if they continue to just do what they do, they shouldn't be worried about anybody else. It doesn't matter if they're playing Miami, which is probably the toughest wide receiver as far as speed we're going to have to face. I think the toughest wide receiver combination, I think this is it. I think that's it. I think that's the toughest combination until you get to the playoffs, and then we start breaking down the Eagles and the Vikings and things like that. But I think on this schedule, name another wide receiving core you're more worried about than Miami. And while you pull it up, let me go ahead and get to some of these contributions out here, bro. First of all, I got to give a super shout out to all the new members on the channel, man. I truly appreciate that. All right. I did, Tanya. We got to get my man Gerard up here. Appreciate you for coming a member, man. Raffle Raphael is back, man. Air horns to Raphael. All right, I got y'all out there, man. I appreciate all the new members. If I forgot to shout you out, my apologies. But when I see your thing pop up, I'll make sure I do that. We do got a couple of questions we're gonna get to. Mose, we did the membership joints. You want to take over on that? What you was about to say? Because I saw you pull something up. Who you worried about? As far as wide receiver?
Nobody.
Not even.
No, I do worry about Tampa because they have Tom, and then now Mike Evans is always a good receiver, and they have Chris Godwin who's back healthy. You know, he's getting back in the swing of things. They know how to use Scotty Miller, Julio Jones. They're trying to leave him in.
Scotty Miller is worse than Jawan Jennings, bro. You know how you didn't like Jawan Jennings? If you don't like Jawan Jennings and you mention Scotty Miller's name, you will not be on another show on this channel, bro. That dude dropped wide open touchdowns in the end zone, and that's why I ain't get the points from Tom Brady. That punk motherfucker need to go somewhere, bro.
That's what it is. So you just upset with Scotty Miller.
Yeah, definitely.
But when he does catch the ball, or when they find the ways to get the ball in his hands, he's like a great value,
true
Wes Welker for Tom Brady because he does have speed, and he is elusive with the ball in his hands. But we have two really big tests at the wide receiver position with Miami and Tampa back to back. So if we could just clean some things up, tighten some things up, and even our players, Mooney's talked about it. Talanoa Hufanga has taken accountability, and he has also talked about it. Just being better, making sure that they're in their spots, they're reading their keys. So we could just tighten things up. I know this secondary is capable of doing it and playing at a really, really high level to match the rest of the defense.
There's one player that I feel like is playing the best football I've ever. I'm just gonna get a round of applause. Yamador Lemore, bro. He's an Oregon. I'm gonna leave it at that. Yo, he locked down.
He set,
bro. Like
he set the tone and the intensity.
That
first play on Moore.
He took Moore out.
Set the tone and the intensity of the defense.
He had a play on D Hop, and I'm like, okay. He ready, and then
he got it.
He got it. He got it. He got it. And him and Womack. Because when Womack came in for Mooney Ward's injury, and they threw the hop, Womack was glued. Like, how are you glued to this guy? And I think the only issue with Womack right now, and the reason why he's probably not starting, other than terminology, whatever, like knowing the plays, knowing the assignment of what he's supposed to do in the formation, is the simple fact that I don't think he can handle speed well yet. That'll come though. But Hopkins is not a speed guy. Can he get open? Yes. He's not super speedy. He was glued to him, bro, like flies on crap, bro. I was like, yo, that's why he got to play. But
he has to. Because the only way he's going to get ready for the speed, he's got to see it.
Ooh.
He's got to see it more often. And he has to, honestly, a lot of stuff with football is muscle memory. That's why DeMarcus Ware could be so successful at doing the spin, because he already knows what it feels like and what his body is going to do. He already knows where he's going to be. So he doesn't have to think about it. He doesn't have to do the spin and say, okay, where am I? He knows if I spin here, knowing my speed and my velocity and momentum, I'm going to be here. And that's where I want to be, so that when I'm finished this spin and get past this offensive tackle, I can get right to the quarterback. So a lot of it is about muscle memory. You have to know, what do my feet feel like when I have to face somebody who has 4.3 speed versus somebody who has 4.5 speed?
Mm-hmm.
What do my hips feel like if he does get on top of me and I have to turn and run and close that gap? What does that feel like? So like, he has to play to kind of see you got to see the variance of the different levels of speed in the NFL to know how your body is supposed to react during each and every one of those moments. So that's why I just want him on the field, because imagine how much better he can get once he gets all that information downloaded.
The reason why I asked that is because I'm always looking to the future.
Mm-hmm.
And you know I love Emmanuel Mosley.
I know you do. Shout out to my cousin.
But if we're seeing progression,
Right.
and Mosley's a free agent and he's coming off
Mm-hmm.
the injury, and I want him to be a 49er, but does Mosley, do you try to bring Mosley back on a Verrett type of a deal and let Diamador Lenore rock out because the kid is balling? I know it's a tough question.
I think you have to. I think one of the things that this organization is becoming known for, and maybe with some players over the others, maybe not, but loyalty to certain players, loyalty to certain guys, especially if they feel like there isn't another option out there that's better. We see the loyalty to, Jerick McKinnon. Obviously he isn't here anymore, but he was here for a while after the injury just because of the potential. We see the respect that Jason Verrett has garnered just being in his locker room and the players seeing what he has gone through and still riding for him to be a part of this team. I think Emmanuel Mosley is one of those guys because he came in as an undrafted free agent and worked his tail off. And when our secondary was playing at our highest level was when Mooney and Mosley were on the field at the same time. That was the start of how our defense became number one in the league. And we were so powerful early on in the season because teams couldn't pass on us because Mooney and Mosley had the outsides locked down. And I think it took a little dip when he left because it forced Diamador Lenore into more playing time. We didn't have Jimmy Ward. For some odd reason, we weren't playing Samuel Womack as much as we needed to be. So it kind of took a little bit of a dip. But now Diamador has raised his level of play. We need to get Womack more snaps. Jimmy Ward is back. But I think you have to bring him back in the fold just because of what he's done and what he's proven. He's going to work. He knows the system. And if he can come back healthy from this ACL tear, I see him and Mooney picking up next year, where they left off this season.
So what does that do for, if you're all right, so Demo is playing like a pit bull. Bro, he's finishing tackles. He's putting big hits on players, and he's locking up. He's getting away with a couple of penalties here and there, but I think he's learning the nuances of the game because he's learning, hey, man, I could do this. They don't call it. All right, cool, right? You want to see him get better and progress without the handsy-hand stuff because there should have been a PI call. They didn't call it. I guess it was going back and forth, whatever. Luckily, they didn't call it. But he's getting better, Mose. And he's not costing you as much. So
yeah,
as much as I want Mosley back, I don't. If Mosley's going to charge us more, I think they're going to have to make a business decision and walk away from him because they got this kid.
I agree with you. It is going to depend on what Mosley wants. Do you see a scenario where at the beginning of next season, if we do bring Mosley back, we move Jimmy back to free safety, his natural spot, and we put Demo in the slot? I know he's more of an outside corner, but at the end of the day,
good point.
Football player is a football player. Jimmy don't like playing slot,
good point,
but he's playing it. So at the end of the day, a football is football player. And if he want to get on the field and earn his money and earn another contract and get playing time, I don't think Demo has a problem with being in the slot. Now, when you talk about corners, now you got 3 dog corners on top of your 2 dog safeties because we know Mooney, Manny, and Demo all going to tackle the ball carrier, whether it's a running back or a wide receiver. They get to the ball, they make sure they make contact and get the ball carrier to the ground. So like Lake City Fred, Demo will be in the slot. I don't mind that. Demo in the slot. I mean, I would love to see Samuel Womack, and if they got to rotate or whatever the case may be, a little bit of Demo, a little bit of Samuel Womack, depending on who the competition is that week. But Demo primarily in the slot, Mooney and Manny on the outside, Hufanga and Ward on the back end.
Hey man, look, there's some catches to what you're saying. I love everything that you're talking about. And guys, we're just foreseeing the future because we're talking about the play, the trending upwards play from second year cornerback Diamador Lenore. He's definitely trending upwards. And so that's why we're having this conversation, because going forward, you can see Terradome says like sound like some good problems to have. But
because also too, I could see us doing it just because of what I talked about and the loyalty that this team has to their players. But do we bring Jason Verrett back again if he doesn't retire?
I think. Let me ask you this: from a fan perspective, would, not that it matters, but he can't stay healthy,
right?
And then everybody's going to talk about the money. Like, I mean, if Jason Verrett said they would play for $1, I think the fans would still be mad. Right? So I don't know if it's the money or whatever, but would you bring him back? Like, when you're seeing this surgence of Diamador Lenore and he's a healthy guy, he could probably be like the newer Jason Verrett, which is kind of like you want to get him to kind of like model, right? Would you still bring back Verrett? Because if I had to pick between Verrett or Mosley, I'm bringing Mosley back. I'm sorry.
And that's my point. I think, we went out, we signed Mooney Ward, we drafted Samuel Womack, and we drafted Tariq Castro Fields. So, like, we were trying to find more corners. I don't think we bring Jason Verrett back. And I don't know what's going to happen with Ambry Thomas.
He might be as good as done. Unless he can have an amazing off season to where
he's gonna have to have that.
It's terminology, Mose. I can tell you that right now.
Depending on what's available in free agency and who we think we may be able to get in the draft with the picks that we have and where we're selecting, he may be going before that. And I don't know because our numbers will be low. But if we don't bring back Mosley and we don't bring back Verrett, that leaves us with Mooney, Demo, Womack, and Ambry. So we're gonna have to supplement and bring corners in somewhere, whether it be free agency or the draft. So if you can keep a guy like Mosley on a team-friendly deal because he's coming off the ACL injury and we don't know how he'll return, I think that is your best option with the unknown of draft and free agency.
Yeah. When I said that I agree with you, but it does come down to this business because the numbers are going to talk. I don't think that mostly at 7 million is the right. It's probably going to be like 3.5.
Oh, damn.
I don't think it's going to be 7. It'll be more like 3.5 injury type of stuff.
Then we got to think about that.
So you mentioned something, and I'm glad that West Coast Kings brought this up. Shout out to our member who leads with Ryan's. Guess who I think goes with Ryan's first?
Who?
Jimmy Ward.
Whoo. Because he's going to go with Ryan's. And
this might be a 2.5-hour show, y'all. I'm sorry. I ain't seen y'all since.
And D'Amico is going to play him at free safety where he wants to play.
So you can here's the conversation. Listen, man. Kyle got his guy here. Tashawn Gibson is here. Listen, he's been playing good. We're going to let him play there. But this is where I could use you. I need you here. I tell you what, you play here for me. You rock out. You'll have a job wherever it is I go. And you can play your natural position. And I'm going to pay you.
Right. Because
he's like, all right,
he's a free agent and he wants that last contract because he's in his 30s. So he wants that last contract to secure his future. But he wants to play where he wants to play.
And he'll get that from his head coach next year.
Yikes.
So you're losing that dynamic. So the question is then who fills that void? And the fact that, we don't have a first or a second round pick. I'm not drafting the safety in the third round to come in here and be the guy. So we might be addressing free safety.
I don't know, bro. They drafted Kirby Joseph late and he's starting to cook in Detroit. He was one of our favorite guys.
Who do we want on this team?
He was one of our favorite guys.
Who do we want on this team, Mose?
Kirby Joseph got an interception in I think like 2 straight games or something like that.
The only reason why I feel like we can get a safety is if other positions push these players down. That's what happened.
Yeah, that's what happened. The safety position got pushed down because even Jalen Petrie, who everybody thought was a first round pick, He slips into the second round, goes to Houston, and he's balling right now.
I'm trying to whisper.
I thought something was wrong with your audio.
No, I wanted.
He's whispering.
Nah, I was just whispering. Listen, look, love what the team is doing. The team is definitely on the up and up, guys. You're seeing everything come together. This is the Kyle's plan that we've been waiting for. They put up 38 points on a pretty damn good defense, in my opinion. I'm sorry if you got JJ Watt out there and Buda Baker, and Isaiah Simmons
and Zaven Collins and Marcus Golden, who always kills us. You can't tell me
this a weak motherfucking defense is what I'm trying to say. They put up 38 points on that D, no pause, and they did it in the way that the 49ers are split. That's the way the team should be playing every single week, Mose. And going forward, I don't see how they can't. Even if as much as I like Miami, their defense ain't as good. Their defense is not. They might got Xavier Howard. You might not test him,
but he not the same. He kind of regressing this season. He's taking a step back.
This is why I rocks with you, bro. Because I knew you were gonna say that. But that's their best defensive player. I would say, and the reason why
maybe Bradley Chubb is now. Right. He still got to figure out.
Got to get acclimated to
their defense. Yeah. But I would say maybe Bradley Chubb is now.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
Fair. I mean, listen, I think Javon Holland is better. Javon Holland.
But they're still giving up 30+ points a game, bro.
That's true.
And the 49ers are stingy. I don't care who play on the offense. Like Tyreek Hill might be the best receiver we play all year. And before that was Cooper Kupp. And we even limited him. We play some dogs.
Yeah.
And the 49ers defense, you heard BA say it. We got more dogs than the dog pound cuz. He said something like that.
Yo,
Byron Jones, I think, regressed it too, Hurricane.
Yeah. He's been very injury prone, and he hasn't played a full season in I don't know how long. He's not the same guy either.
Listen, I know I'm skipping forward, and we're not going to bypass the Saints. I apologize because I can tell you right now, I still think Cameron Jordan and Davenport are going to be a problem. I just do. I do. But they defense still give up mad points. Mm-hmm. How are they that good and give up mad points? Mm-hmm. That's my point. And if our offensive line could take this last game, not any other game, this last one, and say, listen, this is when we were most cohesive. This is when we were the freaking G unit. This is when we was dope. We was tight. We was tipping. We was still doing whatever we needed to do, and we rushed it down their throats. My favorite play was the Trent Williams block on that Christian McCaffrey run because he put one of my favorite players in the dirt. I love Buda Baker, bro. I love his whole mindset.
Did you see when he talked to the team and it brought him to tears that he was so emotional?
You telling me you didn't get brought to tears? That was the night before I left for Mexico. I'm sitting there like, oh, shit, we gotta play this.
Like, yo.
I'm like, we gotta
play if there's a teammate that you want to play for and you make sure that you don't let down, you do your job because you know they're gonna do theirs. Buda Baker is definitely one of those dudes. He's definitely one of those dudes.
Thought we was going to be able to scoop him up in like a free agency type of thing, but the Cardinals made sure they handled that business.
He's not going nowhere.
He ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. All right, guys, we're going to get to the super chat contributions. I do see a couple of questions that I already have starred. We appreciate you for rocking out. I saw some people ask how they could become members. If you watch the show, there's going to be a join button, I believe, next there. You just click on the button, and there'll be 3 packages that you can choose from. All right. Also, if you guys, I need one person to give a super thanks. All right. If you don't know what a super thanks is, check it out. There should be a button that talks about super thanks. And I'm going to do something special for the first person that gives a super thanks. All right. And you'll see what that is, but you got to do it first. All right. It's almost like a super chat, but it's a little bit different. All right. I want to see how it works. So we're going to test that out. Mose, look, I got a couple of questions for you. And I'm going to let you answer them. Then I'll do the contributions. Ronnie, he says, what's your take on the team going with Mason or TDP?
I was a little frustrated and confused about that. again, me and my cousin Sid were talking about it, and he asked me the question when he saw Jordan Mason in. He said, "Why did we draft TDP?" Now, the concept of us drafting TDP at the time was well worth it. No more Raheem Mostert. We had so many injuries to the running back position. We didn't know where Trey Sermon was going to be. We didn't know that Jordan Mason was going to come in as an undrafted free agent and, light camp on fire. So Kyle, again, like I said earlier, the way his offense is able to function at an optimal level is having a solid running game and a dynamic running back. And that's somebody that they thought could come in and be dynamic in this scheme. I don't know if it has anything to do with, his ability to grasp the offense, because as we know, Kyle's offense is a bit complicated. But the fact that we went to Jordan Mason, I really don't want to look that much into it because it was at the end of the game. We had pulled all of our starters out, and maybe this was just Kyle's opportunity to get Jordan Mason some touches because we, the faithful, have been complaining. Why haven't we been seeing Jordan Mason? So I don't want to put too much stock into it, but, I thought we would have seen a little bit of TDP get some type of action at the end of that game. And the call was to go with Mason over TDP. So,
yeah. And Ty put this out here. Mason plays special teams. It was good seeing him out there on special teams and getting I don't know if y'all saw this on TV, but every time the special teams like did a kickoff or whatever, and they made the tackle, they had like the selective special team members go around to the end zones and get the crowd riled up. I don't know if they showed it on TV, but I thought that was so dope because I'm like, why are we cheering? You know what I'm saying? And it was
because I apparently, and you were there, so you can talk to this. Apparently, there were some folks in the stadium that didn't know when to cheer. Like
really?
the cheering was, that's what they were saying on the broadcast, and that's what some people were
Let me tell
saying
you how it was
on Twitter after the game. Like there were some people in the that didn't know, like,
bro. Let me
do
tell
I
you
cheer
how it
now?
was.
Do I not cheer? I think even Kyle mentioned it. He was saying we didn't know if they were going to cheer like when we were on offense and trying to talk in the huddle. He said, but the crowd was really good. So it's some conflicting reports.
First of all, it was so loud in there from the beginning of the kickoff, right? Beginning, it was just loud. And every time, let me tell you how the home field advantage was for the 49ers. Whenever on the first series, 1st and 10, defense. I mean, I'm like, they didn't even hike the ball yet. Like, they were already lit for the 49ers the whole time. Every time the Cardinals got the ball, boo. And so it's just like, wow. Like, I'm telling you, when I got off the airplane, it was just go Niners, go Niners, go Niners. I didn't see Cardinal fans to the day of the game.
Wow.
That's how. I don't know if they were trying to downplay the home field advantage. Were there some Cardinal fans in there? For sure. It was a couple sitting behind me, a couple whatever. But it was a 49ers loud game for all 60 minutes. All 60 minutes. I went to go pee because I thought we was on defense before the half. I'm like, they're not going to score. As the moment I was sitting there like dripping, and I hear the crowd go wild, I'm like, what I missed? I thought the Cardinals scored. Nah, Bosa got a sack. So I missed the sack. I'm telling you, bro, it was that loud for the 49ers. So I don't know what they portrayed for you on the television. I did rewatch the game, and I was kind of like, But there, bro, it was all 49ers, and they made sure that you knew it. Like, they made sure that you knew it. And so shout out to the fans out there in Mexico. Not just the faithful that were there, like the homegrown 49er fans out there in Mexico. It was really, really on top. All right. Really on top. All right, guys. We got a couple more questions we got to get to. Shout out to everybody out there again. I know people are asking what is Super Thanks. I think Super Thanks comes after the end of the show, and then it's like a little heart that pop up, I think, and then you can kind of like click on it and then it'll tell you some stuff. I don't know. YouTube told me to ask y'all to do it, so I'm asking. So whatever. All right. Another question. Do I feel the same with the cornerback? Damn it. This is why I don't like saving questions to the end of the show. Don't know what Dynamite. Dave, you're still watching. Not sure what you're referring to, but do I feel the same about the cornerbacks? What do you think he's talking about? I know we were talking about the cornerbacks for a minute. I can't remember.
But he said, "Do you feel the same about the CB?"
Yeah. We were talking about, I don't know. Dynamite Dave, you don't gotta just ask the question again. We'll move on.
Yeah.
TC says, nitty gritty. Wayne, Mose, please answer and understand me. It's a circus bringing Jimmy Garoppolo back. Let's start on any type of, okay. So we're gonna be here for 30 minutes. All right, here we go. It's a circus on bringing him back next year on any type of a contract. It will be idiotic and welcome the clown show. Correct? Question mark, question
That's
mark.
what he's saying.
Yes. So you go first. I got you. I'll clean it up.
While I agree with this statement, I know there's a lot of other people who don't. Some people are still of the mindset that because of this injury, it's a setback for Trey Lance and he won't be ready. Some people are even talking about the idea of bringing in Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers to this team if we don't bring back Jimmy Garoppolo. So there are at least 3 options on the table of quarterbacks: Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Jimmy Garoppolo to bring back because of the idea that Trey Lance won't be ready. I don't want to speak for the young man. And while I don't think it will affect him too much or greatly, I do think it will have an effect on just his mental status of, wanting to be able to take over this team and play the quarterback position that he was drafted 3rd overall to do. But there's always seems to be something that's in the way of him doing that. A minor injury his rookie year, a major injury in his sophomore season. And now because Jimmy Garoppolo is playing better than what he was when I was drafted, now he's the quarterback again. So I do think there will be a circus within the organization. And me personally, I'd rather have the circus amongst the fan base because half of us agree and half of us disagree on everything anyway. I'd rather it be a circus amongst us than a circus and confusion within the organization. I think Trey needs an opportunity to prove that he can be the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. And that's not going to happen if Jimmy Garoppolo or any other quarterback like a Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers is in the building.
So check this out. Very well said. Not much I need to really add. Will it be a circus show? Absolutely. And it's because of what like the content creators and the national media are going to make of it, right? Because if they offer Jimmy Garoppolo a contract, then it's going to be the division amongst the fans, right? And then you're like, well, why did you waste the draft pick on him? You spent all this stuff, and now you're going to go with it. It's going to be so much, right? I can tell you right now, Jimmy Garoppolo, doesn't want to be a backup quarterback, and he's proving it to everybody right now on national TV each and every week, right? He's proven that he's more than a backup quarterback. That's what he's proven right now. Therefore, I don't think the 49ers, are going to be able to afford him next year because he's proven that he can be a starting quarterback healthy. So someone said that earlier on the show. I think it was Leslie. She was like, the fact that he's healthy right now, and B, Jimmy needs stuff around him. The key to bring this show full circle, to unleashing the Kraken, is Christian McCaffrey, who will be a 49er for 3 more years. So
and speaking of that, bringing it full circle, look at all the teams that have egg on their face now that they didn't take the opportunity to get Jimmy. The Colts, Frank Reich was fired. The Panthers,
doing my own boomerang.
Matt Rule was fired because he brought in Baker Mayfield and Baker stuck the joint out. So Jimmy, you mean to tell me Jimmy could have been in that offense?
Jimmy would have had Jonathan Taylor, bro.
With a pretty decent offensive line, before he got traded because of the turmoil, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Terrence Marshall, and Christian McCaffrey and Chuba Hubbard backing him up, Jimmy would have had the pieces that he needed in order to make something happen. But now he's fired. Jimmy would have had that offensive line with Quentin Nelson on it, Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, Paris Campbell. Like the Commanders are doing okay right now, but that's because they had to go to Taylor Heineke because Carson Wentz is garbage.
Dang. I get where
So
you're going with this, bro.
no, I get where you're
too.
going with it because now, I don't think the 49ers are going to be able to afford Jimmy Garoppolo because yesterday's price is not today's price. And I remember when all of y'all needed a quarterback and y'all wanted to play this game because y'all didn't know about my shoulder surgery. Now y'all like, oh, hey, Jimmy, can we talk about you coming to our team again this year? No. He gonna raise the price and make them pay more because you made me stay here amongst all this division and amongst all of this turmoil and unbelief. And I had a rough start to the season because I didn't do anything in the all-season program. I didn't even have the playbook, didn't know any of the new stuff Kyle was installing. And now I'm playing good. I got my team number 1 in the division. We're probably going to win the NFC West, make it back to the playoffs. And when we get in the playoffs, we're going to make a deep run. Oh, no, y'all going to run this checkbook.
Okay. So, look, hey, we do get a 3rd round comp if he signs anywhere else. Where's Alvina? Okay, so I'm let Mose speak for Mose, but I know I did. And I can tell you why I wanted Jimmy off this team. It was because he did not have the talent to do what we're seeing him do now. Don't forget, we added another piece. Jimmy Garoppolo was still mediocre until you brought in Christian McCaffrey. Let's not act like we don't know what didn't happen. That did happen, right? B, you had the piece moving forward. You can't have this guy here if you're trying to move on and get this kid to build, right? Now, the only reason why Jimmy Garoppolo was here is because 31 other teams didn't want him. So shout out to the 31 other teams that effed up. Because if the 31 other teams were smarter, they would have picked up Jimmy, and guess where we would be? Playing for a draft pick, and it wouldn't even be a 1st round one on top of that.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm not backing down from this, Alvina. I did want Jimmy G going because I wanted Trey Lance to have full operating knowledge of this offense. I wanted him to have full support without looking over his shoulder. Jimmy is playing really good football right now, but let's not forget a couple weeks ago he walked out of the back of the end zone because he didn't know where he was. Like, he's growing and developing as the season is going along, and now with the pieces that we have, and as Breezie's mentioned, with the addition of CMC, he is playing better, which I'm happy for because he's here, and I'm going to root for him as long as he is here. But please believe, if he wasn't showing this growth right now, and he was still doing some of the same things that we've known him to do, I would still be saying, I'm glad he's our quarterback now, but this is why we have Trey Lance. It's unfortunate that he got injured, but he is our starting quarterback going forward. And I still think it is that way because you gave up so much. There was when the Dolphins made the trade for Bradley Chubb, they said this is what the Dolphins did with the 49er first pick from Trey Lance. They turned it into Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and Bradley Chubb. And everybody was saying, oh, look who we could have had if we didn't get rid of those draft picks. But we didn't need Bradley Chubb because we already had Nick Bosa. We already had Deebo Samuel, and we had Brandon Ayuk, so we weren't going to get Jalen Waddle. Tyreek Hill was traded for. We could have added Tyreek as that speed element to this offense, but we know Kyle and his ego. He wasn't going to go out and make that big move for a player like that because Kyle can do anything with wide receivers. He's better with the running backs and getting a good running back like we see with CMC. So, again, I'm happy that Jimmy is doing what he's doing now because that means we are winning football games and the outlook on our season is positive. But that doesn't change my outlook for this team for the future. And we, based on what we paid, we need to be able to see if Trey Lance is that guy or if he's not. We just have to see. We cannot prolong that anymore. We can't wait till Trey Lance is in his 4th year, and now we have to make a decision on do we want to pick up his 5th year option or not. And we haven't really seen what he's able to do because Jimmy Garoppolo is still in the building.
Yeah, it's funny because this is like I'm trying to see where Alvina Rose is coming from with her take because
she's basically saying if we didn't have Jimmy Garoppolo right now, we would suck.
But we know that
probably
right. Like, but we were but in my preface in starting Trey Lance, I didn't even expect to get. Guys, we're 6-4. We're not fucking 8-0, 9-0. We're still 6 and like you get what I'm saying? Like, so I expected Trey Lance as a starter to have his ups and have his downs, but to be progressing. I think I think every 49er fan expected that. Like, hey, we as long as we get to the playoffs with Trey Lance, that's all we care about, right? I think that was our goal. We're saying the same thing with Jimmy, as long as we get to the playoffs, right? But the thing with this is you had to move on from Jimmy to show that your faith and your support and that this was going to be your guy. And that's what they did. And they tried to. So we can't say if this or if that, if the mother freaking team literally tried to move this guy and get rid of him. That the team did that. I didn't do that. I can't control what Jimmy Garoppolo's contract. Most can't control. The team tried to trade him. And the 31 teams, whoever they tried to trade to, passed. And luckily for them, they passed. And luckily for us, we're doing good now. We weren't doing. No, I didn't. Avina, where was this comment when Jimmy Garoppolo was trash in that Denver Broncos game?
And I mean, I'm not calling her a
Jimmy
G fan or whatever, but it's just like when at the beginning of the season, there was not a lot of talk about this, and the only Jimmy stands that did come out, they came out and like our brother Fair says about you, adding stipulations onto it, saying, oh, well, he didn't have the playbook. He didn't practice all off season. It's taking him time to get into football shape. He has to get reacclimated. And we talked about that on the show. That's not an excuse for a quarterback who's been in this system for 5+ years. That's no longer excuse. There are some new installs and some new things, but the foundation, the base of the offense is something that you have familiarity with Deebo Samuel. You have familiarity with George Kittle. You have familiarity with Brandon Ayuk. You have familiarity with your running backs. It shouldn't have taken that long for you to get to this point. But you're here. You are the starting quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers, and you are at this point. You had 3 straight games where you have not turned the ball over. No interceptions, no fumbles. Like, that is huge. You just threw 4 touchdown passes on Monday night. There are sometimes some games you seem to rise above it. We've seen some great performances from Jimmy Garoppolo on the Monday night stage. Again, grateful for that. But this isn't where we need to see it because we've seen it here before.
In the playoffs,
we need to see it in the tournament.
That's it.
We need to see it if we do everything that we need to do to get to the NFC Championship game. That's where we need to see it. And not that I'm saying that this is a must, but maybe some of the conversation from some of the folks is redeem yourself for last year's NFC Championship game. And if you do that and get to your Super Bowl, redeem yourself for the 2019 Super Bowl.
And if he does
show us that you can do that on those stages. And if you do that, if you have a dynamite game in the NFC Championship and you go to the Super Bowl and you make a couple of plays here or there, like the play you made to Ray McCloud last week, like the play you made to George Kittle this past Monday night, and we win the Super Bowl, then we'll have a conversation about should we really bring back Jimmy G?
Yeah, because the key to Jimmy was health. That's number one. And that's why they did this, guys. Jimmy's having a healthy season this year. And because he's having a healthy season, he's playing better. Let's just call it like it is. But he struggled at the beginning, and then people said, "Oh, he didn't have an off season. You got to give him some time." Okay, that's fine. Shout out to Jimmy Garoppolo. We've been giving him nothing but props on this show since he's been playing better. Hasn't thrown an interception in the last 3 games. I don't have wood, but somebody knock on some wood because it's gonna get tough. And that's what Mose was saying at the very beginning of the show. Like, it's cool. Let's ride what we got. We are red hot right now. And let's keep riding that wave. You know what I'm saying? And God forbid something happens. We got to figure out how to get over that adversity. But to get back to Jimmy and Trey, look, Trey's the future. We all know that. And I think the reason why we bring it up is because you're hearing national media talk about trading Trey Lance. Like, because Jimmy Garoppolo is playing well. What happens if Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt? What happens if Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't play well? Then what's going to be the narrative then? Oh, he had a bad game? No, Jimmy's going to be Jimmy. That's his narrative. He's Jimmy good and he's Jimmy bad. That's Jimmy. And so they had to they drafted a quarterback for 2 reasons. And I want y'all to hear this. 2 reasons. Number one, and they kind of go hand in hand. Number one, they wanted somebody that they felt can give them the ability to do something totally different. Someone that can take them over the edge, give them something a little bit different. Didn't matter who that quarterback was, but they knew who Jimmy Garoppolo was and they knew his limitations. So they got a guy that they felt like didn't have those same type of limitations. Does that make sense? Number two, right? They drafted a quarterback so they could build the team. So when you draft a quarterback, you got money. When you got money, you can pay Debo, Nick Bosa, Trent Williams. You know where I'm going with this? You can build your team, right? Because they're not spending it in the quarterback. So yeah, they're gonna have 3 more years of Trey Lance on a rookie contract. 3 years. If this team is built, Trey Lance, whenever he gets in, doesn't matter. He's gonna have some bumps and rups and yeah. All quarterbacks do. There's times Patrick Mahomes look like shit, but still finds a way to win because he has an it factor. So you guys got to look at it like that. Are we happy that Jimmy Garoppolo is here? Yeah. Were we wrong that they should have traded him? No. I don't think we were wrong at the time. That's what we needed to do.
And the team was going to do it.
That's my point.
It's just teams that they were talking to backed out. They got cold feet. Now all of them teams, like I said, they got egg on their face. Because now they're looking at Jimmy Garoppolo not throwing interceptions and throwing 4 touchdowns on Monday night. And the Colts is looking at Matt Ryan. And apparently Sam Darnold is starting for the Panthers this Sunday.
Bro, Sam Darnold is starting for the Panthers. They just benched with the kid out in New York. I can't think of his name. Zach Wilson just got benched.
Zach Wilson ain't
White
playing.
Is starting. I guarantee you they're gonna put up 40 points. I can
That's
feel
crazy. It. And then Ron Rivera been talking trash about Carson Wentz ever since. What changed your thought process from going to
how could you want
Taylor Heineke?
Mose, when your coach comes out and says what he says about the starting quarterback? He just can't.
He said what he said about the starting quarterback, and then the next week when they talked about it, he got mad and was like, "We're trying to do the best that we can, and y'all making a big deal out of nothing." No, you said what you said, brother. That's why we're making a big deal out of it. And then now you said, "Well, what was the change of heart with going with Taylor Heineke over Carson Wentz?" And what did he say? Winning. So basically, what you're saying is Carson Wentz can't win. Okay.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's all good. I just want to close up our nice friendly.
Sometimes you lose before you win. It all wasn't trying to compare Elway to Jimmy G. Silly rabbit tricks are for kids.
Oh, so they're talking about stuff in the chat. So I kind of lost your conversation, but
yeah, she had mentioned she was like John Elway
and Steve Young
John Elway lost 3 Super Bowls before he won. But Tara Dome said that basically John Elway was the LeBron James of that Denver Broncos team. That he was the reason why they were even in the Super Bowl. It's just his teams. Once they got there, they were playing against some really, really good football teams, and he just couldn't get them over that hump once you got to that level. But he was the catalyst of them getting there.
Yeah. The reason why
at the end of career, he won back-to-backs.
Yeah, and you know why he won the back-to-backs?
Because they had a team then.
Can I just tell you the one reason why they won back-to-backs?
Mike Shanahan in the running game.
His initials is TD, and y'all figure it out.
Yep, Terrell Davis.
And so we were to go back to full circle. We done. I'm tired of talking because y'all had us here for 2 hours. What the frick is wrong with y'all? Listen, going back to full circle, we talked about a player that unleashes the Kraken, and I didn't necessarily have a player in mind when I was thinking about this, but when we started talking, it just made sense. Just the moment Christian McCaffrey comes to this team, the whole team got better. Like everything worked. The check down came. Elijah
Mitchell. Let me answer this question. When the Eagles won the Super Bowl, did they win with a starting QB? Actually, yes, they did.
Nick Foles was a starting
because QB. Nick Foles was a starting QB before that, and Nick Foles had a really good season where he was 27 and 1 interception or like 28 and 1, something like that. Like he was in the MVP race when he was under, I think it was Chip Kelly for that 1 year. So don't sleep on Nick Foles. Nick Foles had a good run in the NFL. He was a starting quarterback.
Bro. We're gonna be talking to her all damn night. I like Alvina because she brought it back to Jeff Hostetler. Jeff Hostetler was the only quarterback I watched take 2 smelling salts, got back up and played and finished the game, bro.
Finished the game.
That was football.
He was different.
That was football.
Different.
That was football. That was
different. That was a different day. I don't think you see too many dudes doing that these days.
I don't even know if they go to the blue tent now. There was no blue tent back there. I don't even know if we had tent. I don't know if we had this. We had smelling salt. Well, I'm telling you, I don't know what's in that smelling salt.
Didn't Ronnie Lott get his finger cut off on the sidelines and go back in the game
and
like,
play?
bro, cut that joint off. Like,
you.
Ronnie, this is your finger. Like, you can't get this back. And you're like, I don't care. Cut it off.
It's crazy, bro. Listen, we got to get to these contributions. Super chat contributions is that time of the show. Shout out to everybody that gave contributions during the show. Sorry we getting to them toward the end. We just had a lot of content. We just wanted to talk. Sean says, Kanan and I brought every festive Hungry Man dinner. Can't touch this. At the end of the night, we have fireworks show, 2 dinners in the microwave with 10. Sean, don't put the joints. Don't put microwave.
Yeah, you can't put the foil in the microwave. I mean, I just don't turn it on if you do that. But sometimes you forget.
Right. And next thing you know,
my little cousin did that. He put his plate in there and was like, "Oh, I'm hungry. It's already in there. Let me turn this thing on." 5 seconds in, pop, 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 pop. Like, what are you doing,
bro?
You're gonna burn the house down. No,
man. Don't put the microwave. Just don't even put anything that can. Just don't put it in the microwave. Shout out. Thank you for the contribution. Myself says, I would argue it was passing the parents. The push looked like it happened. Pass interference. Got you. The push that
yo, autocorrect is terrible, yo. He wanted to say pass interference. It was passing the parents. That sounds like something my 5-year-old said. Oh, daddy, it was passing the parents. Yes, baby.
When I was
passing the parents.
When I was young, I used to call it passers interference. I used to get it wrong all the time. And so all my cousins be like, what? Passers interference. And so I learned. This is what I saw. Okay. That's what I saw. Even in the replay, like I saw the push, but Mose was trying to say it wasn't like an extension, it was more of a feel, but there was a push. That's what I saw. I'll go back and rewatch it. But thank you for the contribution. Sean is back. The quarterback coach has changed. Jimmy, talk about Brian Grease. Does progressions now, throws the ball. Oh, how can we? I forgot about the throw the ball away part. That was last week. This week was progress. So this is what Jimmy has done his last 3 games. Here we go. You ready? Number 1, check down. Game 2, and their 3-game win. Throw the ball away. Right. And in this game, he's going through progressions. Jimmy's progressing. It is what it is. And we're giving him his flowers for that. But Sean, thank you for the contribution. Yeah, I'm glad he just comes up with names. Rich Kankakaka was flushed. He was the floater.
Man.
That's the pastor over there. We got Pastor Sean Shepard and Bishop Terradome out here. Jacqueline Knox, she says, I'm learning so much. Thank you. What we need is a full reflective report on everything that you learned on this episode. Email to the email address because we would like to know what you learned. So make sure you do it. Andre Moore, shout out to Andre. What's going on, fam? He says, y'all are the best. And are you coming to Vegas? I will be there. I think Moses trying to come. I don't know, but I know I'll be there.
Listen, I need y'all to talk with Mrs. Mosnose to let me come to the Vegas game. Now, it is New Year's, and besides Christmas and Halloween, that is one of her favorite times of the year. Now, she is a Raiders fan. Don't boo her. Don't boo her. I know it's something going on where she not thinking straight, but she is a Raiders fan. Okay, so I said, look, for New Year's, me and you, we go to Vegas. We go see the new stadium. We watch the game. It's all love. Like we go together. She don't want to be away from the kids. So I need y'all to help me. I need y'all to kind of like, Mrs. Mosnose would love to see you in Vegas. It's just kind of like, just sprinkle it in there. Just make her an offer she can't refuse. So we could be out there and rock out with y'all.
Have y'all ever been to Vegas on New Year's?
No.
That's my pitch. All right, let's keep it moving. They held Mooney Ward on that Bosa offsides. I didn't see that. Penalties should have offset. Replay the down. I didn't see the hold. I'll have to check.
Yeah, I saw it. I mean, we don't get calls, so I knew that they wasn't going to call that, but Bishop is right. They definitely missed that hold on Mooney. I think they saw the offsides first. And as soon as you see the offsides, they consider it a free play. So they were looking at the play to see what happened, to see if it was something that could be declined or if the team wanted to accept the penalty. So more often than not, because it was a free play, they just didn't even pay attention to anything else. It's trash, but it happens.
Eddie G says, how did it feel to see Jordan Mason run the ball?
It felt great, and I wish we see it more. I think if we could sprinkle him in with Mitchell and CMC, team's gonna be super mad playing us because they just know, like, just the mental anguish of, yo, I'm gonna be so beat up after this game. I'm gonna need so much treatment. My body gonna hurt. I ain't gonna sleep right for a couple of days. Just knowing that they're gonna get beat up playing this team. I want to see him run the ball more.
We're going to have another conversation, Mose, because we got to get out of this show because I'm freaking hungry. I've been fasting. I'm doing that 12 to 8 thing, and it's 12 o'clock. What time is it? It's time for me. I'm eating a whole buffet at the end of this. Eddie says, we answered that. See, I'm all jacked up. Mark says, if Jimmy was gone, ooh, Mark, you dead wrong for starting this conversation right now, Mark. What is wrong with you? I'm hungry.
I mean, that is the what if question. If we didn't have Jimmy Garoppolo, and that means his backup quarterback is either Brock Purdy or Nate Sudfeld, who we got rid of, does he use him differently? And I think that would have been a good thing because
answer the question, Mo, you're supposed to leave it. I gave you space.
I'm just saying. I think it would have been a good thing because we would have been able to see him mature as a passer instead of having to utilize his athleticism needed to run, and only see him use athleticism if a play broke down, if there was a missed assignment on the line and we got a free rusher coming in and he just got to do what he got to do to get positive yards. But I do think Kyle Shanahan uses him differently without Jimmy Garoppolo as the backup. And I appreciate this. I know we're doing other comments, but Marketing Pro is telling people to hit the like button.
Marketing Pro, we appreciate you, man.
That's love, man.
100%.
Thank you, Marketing Pro.
100%. I tell you, Mose, I hope Mrs. Mose knows is cool because it looked like we ain't going nowhere for a minute because I thought we was ending the show. I was about to do a quick promo for Miss Deb, and then here come contributions. It's like they smart. They like, I'm not going to do it to the end since he waiting to the end to read them anyway. Y'all think
again, full circle. Y'all wanted to wait 20 minutes to start this show. Now y'all trying to leave? Nope. Contribution. Y'all not going nowhere. Y'all wanted to make us wait. Now y'all gotta wait.
I could dig it. I'm not mad at anybody out there. I know why I kept the damn the Jordan Mason comment from Eddie. I know why I kept it up because you said something. You would like to see him run the ball more because it's gonna be dangerous. And I was gonna say this. If Brock Purdy hands the damn ball off on the right side to him, he probably would have more touches, bro. Because did you see that play? Purdy went this way, Mason on that side, Purdy on that side. Mason, they got to get it together. They work on the same second, third string. They got to figure that out.
And I mean, although I don't agree with her, I got to show some love to Alvina because she's been holding down the chat recently. I think that's kind of what she's going to like. We've seen some good things from Brock Purdy, but that was a moment that we saw from Brock Purdy that if we were counting on him on an everyday basis, a week in, week out basis because of the injury to Trey Lance and didn't have Jimmy Garoppolo in the fold, then, we see more of the CJ Beathard, Nick Mullins that we're used to when our starting quarterback goes down. So, I mean, I understand what she's saying, but this is still Trey Lance's team. Oh no! Oh Bishop,
you can't do this.
He just did something positive for us and told people to hit the like button. You can't do that, Bishop.
You can't do that, Bishop. I tell you, man, church folk, man, they crucial, man. Don't be cruel.
Cause I would never be that way to you.
Come on, Teddy.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man. Wow. Sorry, Marketing Pro. Listen, Mark, I can't control what goes on in the chat. I mean, I can, but it's all friendly love.
Right, that's it.
But we do appreciate that, man.
But he's been here long enough. He know what it is.
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that.
Well, I don't know why our chat is lit.
You're right.
The chat is lit. I don't know why you didn't expect it. The chat is lit.
We got the illest chat in the world. This is a dope ass question because I was watching it. So when I was there, I was like, what did he do? Nigel says, what do you think of the D-Hop taunting call? So it was taunting. It was taunting. So you got to quote.
I think that penalty was trash.
Okay, I'm just gonna say bull. I had it ready.
No. I'm trying to be better. I think it was trash.
I got you.
I think,
but it was taunting because
it was taunting based on the rule. But I hate this is. I know they're trying to make the players be role models. There's a bunch of kids that watch them play, but this is a grown man sport. You asking a bunch of grown men to go up against another set of grown men and to run into each other at 25 miles an hour.
It's what he did. That guy.
All he did. He caught the ball. One of them tried to tackle. He bounced off of that one. Then Jimmy Ward came in, and that was the one that got him down. But he kind of got loose from that and just fell from the momentum.
Get to the damn Mose. I don't need to.
So he was trying to say like, I'm big, you little, and he was like, oh, 1, 2. I got both of y'all on this play.
That was it. If he didn't point and he just said it, he would have got away with it.
Nah, but man,
he should have said. He should have said.
The point adds emphasis. It also gets
the penalty. It gets the taunting call. Look, because let me explain something. Tashawn Gibson did the same damn thing, and I was like, he about to get the call, but he didn't point. He was just like, So if you don't point, I think I know you hate it. I get it. I got it.
Because you're at, not only are you, like I said, you asking these grown men to hit each other going 20 miles an hour or faster, but like you got dudes that are hyped up on adrenaline because they're playing such a dangerous game. Like if I'm making a play at the highest level, like all I did was go, oh, you and you.
No,
like
he didn't go you and you. He said
he didn't touch him.
He said, I heard it. I got the clip. He said 1, 2, 1, 2. If he didn't point, my point is this: if he didn't point, it wouldn't have been a taunt. But the fact that he pointed 1, 2, I think that was the reason why. Bro, I was there. It didn't make sense.
I know.
I had to come home and rewatch it. I thought he threw the ball at him, Mose.
If he would have did that, I'd have been like, yeah.
Mose, I told somebody
he was pointing at him.
He threw the ball at him. I was lying. I was wrong. I didn't even know. I couldn't figure out what to make up. I didn't hear him say, I got you and you 1 and 2. That's what he did. That's the only reason why. And
I know he can't, Bishop, but he should be able to.
That's what Moses is saying. Like that
should be. It's just a point. It's just boom, boom.
It's a weak rule. It's a week rule, right?
That's what I'm saying.
They should have called
grown men playing the kids' game. Yeah. They get excited when they make a play. Like if you let them signal first down, if you let and now they only let
anybody though, Mose. I think that's what
I know, but like it takes away from the spirit of the game. As long as he don't touch them, now. As long as it wasn't no fight started, he didn't touch him. It was just like he made a play.
And that's why you throw the flag, Mose. Because
I guess it could lead to a fight. I mean, yeah.
If that wasn't Jimmy Ward, Mose, I don't think it would have been a flag. But the fact that the league Jimmy Ward played a damn good game too in the nickel spot.
He did. He did.
He's coming along. He's starting to get comfortable in it or something. But I knew I said every time Hopkins go into the nickel, let Jimmy just let him. Don't move. I wanted Mooney to shadow hop other than in the slot. I needed to see that matchup. But I get you, Mose. I got you, bro. The rule is weak, especially on certain things. Now, if he would have, like what Gibson did was he did something. He made the hit or whatever, stopped him, and then he got up and was like, yeah. And I was like, is he over the guy, sort of, kind of? He's about to get a flag, but luckily they didn't call it. So we got lucky that they didn't call it in that way. Christy Marie says, Breezy, Mose, and my NG family have a happy and blessed Thanksgiving. She never gave us her address, bro. She think we forgot. Full circle.
Yeah, I mean,
like 40 turkeys, 80
right?
cautious links. I forgot what she said. I had to go back.
No, it was two. Listen, I know food numbers: 2 turkeys, 2 hens, 10 slabs of ribs, and 50 links. I know the numbers, and now I just need the address so I don't forget that.
Shrimp dressing on top of that.
Yes, sir. And then she said all the pies, not just some,
not just sweet potato,
all the pies,
not just pumpkin, not
apple, not just cherry, all the pies.
Tomorrow gonna be a good day. I'm talking about
tomorrow's
day. You should just eat and be merry. All right. And we got one more contribution that we want to read before we get up here. What a nice pre-Thanksgiving show. First show since I got back. You know, Sean had to end the show because that's what Sean does. He ends the show with a contribution. And I'm so glad Gammon is not here because then they would be going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? But Gammon, we miss you. Yeah. I'm just happy that, you know, we're going to end on this one. Sean says, I'm making them see their need for Jesus, Breezy. And we're going to end the show on that one. Listen, guys, have a safe and blessed Thanksgiving. Eat, watch football. I know it's not our team, but watch football. More importantly, make sure you tune in to the WayneBreezie Show tomorrow at 11 a.m. I promise I'm going to keep you for an hour. I got Mariah from the 49 Faithful League coming on, and we're going to talk about giving thanks, and we may replay some of those moments from the last time we played on Thursday night on Thanksgiving. Wasn't a win, I don't believe. I remember losing to the Ravens. I can't remember. Anyway, I'll do my research, and we'll go ahead and replay some of that, have some fun. Mose, before we jump on out of here, man, I know you've been posting it in the chat, but please let everybody know, and we got to get you to this number. I need you to get to 1,000. Where are we at right now?
895. So we 105 away.
Guys, we're 105 subscribers away from the Mose Knows channel getting to 1K. Let me just explain to everybody what it means, because I know everybody thinks we're out here to get money. And so, yeah, I mean, it's capitalistic world. I mean, we try and get paid for what we do, right? We love what we do, but we're not asking you to pay us. We're asking you to subscribe. So what your subscription does is it allow ads to be placed on our videos. You know, the things y'all don't like to watch. And when those ads get placed on the videos, you know, for every certain amount of views that we get on the video, and I'll keep it a buck. In order to make $10 off of a video, we need 1,000 views. That's why we ask you to watch the show. We need at least 1,000. At least that's what it was before I got demonetized on my old channel or whatever. So, guys, please make sure you go ahead and subscribe. And then I know you see a bunch of things popping up, memberships, super chats, whatever. Please patronize your guys. We out here just putting up content, and we do research behind the scenes. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this, and we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So if you want to know where the money goes, it goes back to you by creating more and more content, adding more people to the team, getting more equipment, things like that. And that's where your money goes. Like, I ain't gonna front. Some of it go to my damn light bill, but I'm gonna tell you right now, it ain't much. But we do appreciate what you guys are able to contribute, and honestly, we wouldn't be here for you. And that's why I'm doing a Thanksgiving show tomorrow, because I want to give you guys thanks. And if you guys want to come on and talk to Mariah and I, feel free. I'll open up the video chat, never mind the voice line. You can come on the show with us. All right. Dynamite Dave says, wait, Mose has a show? You damn right he has a show. Where you been, Dynamite Dave? You had a question earlier talking about the cornerbacks, and we had no idea what the hell you was talking about. So re-ask it. Mose, poll question, and you give your final thoughts while I get these results.
Listen, final thoughts is we're playing really, really good football right now. We have an opportunity coming off the bye. We're getting healthier. We got 3 straight home games. I mean, we don't have to travel nowhere. We can stay right at home. We can fill up Levi Stadium. We have the faithful there and present. So now is an opportunity for us to build on this momentum and carry it through the end of the season into the playoffs. I love what we're doing right now. I support all members of this organization, even the quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. He's playing good football. Hopefully he can continue to do that. And if we can stay healthy, we are as dangerous as any team in the National Football League. So a credit to the organization, a credit to the players, a credit to you guys, the faithful. You guys are traveling. Some of you were out in Mexico with Breezy. Some of you were with us in Atlanta. Some of you were with us in Chicago. Some of you have traveled to some of our other road games. Some of you go to all the home games. Shout out to Miss Deb and other season ticket holders. Much love and respect to all of you guys. Everything that they do and to put in the product on the field and everything that we do to support that team has us where we are. So we just got to keep it up, keep supporting our team, keep propping them up, and just allow them to be the best that they can be on the field every Thursday, Monday, and Sunday. So we just got to keep it up, consistency.
There it is, guys. Consistency is key. They're trending up. They've been trending up for the past several weeks. And the only way they're going to keep trending up is by being consistent. Way to close out the show. Before we go, I want to give a shout out to the one and only Miss Debbie. She's doing a crazy raffle right now. If y'all like the prizes that we give away, it's because Miss Debbie just has this crazy innate thing to find these great things to give away, right? And so some of the things that she did, she did this crystal helmet, bro. And the fact that she got all Swarovski crystals and sat there and hand placed each and every one to give you a customized 49ers item, she's going to be raffling those off. Now, she told me that she has 17 takers with 100 spaces available, and they're only $20. So in order to win one of these, you only got to pay $20. Guys, join the raffle. Hit up Miss Debbie on Twitter. Hit up Miss Debbie on Facebook as well. Join the Nitty Gritty Niners Facebook group. It's all posted in there on how you can participate. All right, $20 will get you in there, and you're going to win some really, really expensive prizes. I know people be like, oh, I want to win. No, these are expensive prizes. If you want to go pay for one, you're going to cost you like over $2,000, but you could win one for $20. Let's just think about it like that. So shout out to Miss Debbie. Give her a round of applause and all the amazing work she does for the show behind the scenes.
Love you, Miss Deb.
Love you, Miss Deb. Last but not least, Mose, the poll question. So, Mose, MVP of the game, Jimmy Garoppolo, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, or Deebo Samuel. Who would you vote for and why?
James Anthony Bartholomew Garoppolo.
That's his whole name for real?
No, I added the middle names.
It sound right though.
I added the middle names, but I'm giving it to Jimmy. When you play like that, putting 4 touchdowns on the board, like you said, reading his progressions, stepping up in the pocket, making the right play. You can't ask for anything more than what he did. I know Ayuk had a great game. Kittle had a great game. Deebo had catches, had the big run. But I think all of that was set up by the way Jimmy played. I love what West Coast King said. I think the offensive line aided in that. But sometimes the offensive line plays well and Jimmy doesn't. So, again, like we said, we support our players no matter what. We may have, criticisms if they aren't playing well. But Jimmy played well. So my MVP of this game is going to go to Jimmy.
Yeah, and 71% of the poll voters agreed with you. Jimmy James Garoppolo, MacArthur, Bartholomew J. Simpson, whatever his name is. Now, listen, I just call it like I see it. And some people they can't handle the truth. I think that's what it is. They can't handle the truth. Was that the Firm, Jack Nicholson? But anyway, or A Few Good Men. It was one of them two. It was A Few Good Men, I think. The Firm was something different. But anyway, like James is getting better, and I'm trying to highlight it. I'm trying to show people, like, look, he's progressing. And in this particular game, he probably had one of the best games of his career. Just like in Denver, he had the worst game of his career. He went and turned it around in the same season and had the best game of his career. Listen, I love what George Kittle did. He was the energy. God dang, that second touchdown that they scored was all George Kittle. The throw was nice by Jimmy, but dang, he made 2 people miss. He made 2 people go like this. And ran into the end zone. That was George Kittle. And then Brandon Ayuk can route anybody up in the NFL, I think. He can route any DB, linebacker, safety. He can just route you up. That's what he does. Those were dimes. And Deebo, he's starting to become like the guy that everybody's forgetting. I I really feel like people aren't giving Debo props. People aren't understanding that Debo, they're like, oh, he's not the same guy from last year. He's too fat. He's out of shape. Huh? So you telling me that out of shape dude ran a 50-something yard touchdown and that in the highest altitude he's ever, that's out of shape to you?
Go tackle Debo. Yeah. Everybody who's saying he's fat out of shape, line up against Debo and one, stop him from catching the ball, and two, tackle him if he gets the ball in the backfield. You run. I want to see it, bro.
I'm just saying, like, Debo's production is different because the team is different. There's just more disparity for the ball. Like it can go to different places, which is what you want because y'all want Debo to be healthy. And if you want him to be healthy, you can't expect him to get the ball on every play. But I still watched him. Shout out to Trent Williams too, because the block on that play was ridiculous. Just run the damn ball to the left side. I think that's what we're figuring out, right, Mose? Run it to the left. Run it to the left. Kind of works. I kind of like Christian McCaffrey going to the right because everybody thinks that we're going to the left, and then they can kind of trick him, and he's got space. But listen, man, James Garoppolo would have been my MVP, and so does 71% of the poll voters. They feel the same exact way. It was a great game, great recap, great conversation, Mose. Listen, happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there that's not going to be able to watch tomorrow. I just want you to know I wish you and your families a happy Thanksgiving. If you're able to tune in at 11 a.m., I don't care if it's 1 to 2, 3, 5, 6 people in here. We're going to have some fun for hour. We may do a little trivia. All right. We may just have a great time on Kahoot. And I tell you what, it might not be a 49er Kahoot. It might be something just Gen Pop. We'll just have a good time. I'll hook up Kahoot and we'll just play a game and I'll give some stuff away. All right. So make sure you guys tune in. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to comment in the comment section. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to Moses' channel, Mose Knows. Stay up, stay faithful, keep it nitty gritty. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.